All right, welcome back to the 2B Fair Show. I'm your host, Johnny P.
Oh, yeah, real.
It's Q.
And we back. Before we get started, we want to tell everybody to tap in on all socials at the 2B Fair Show. That's Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok for now.
Yeah.
TikTok for now.
It wouldn't have been TikTok a few hours ago.
Yeah, so shout out Big T, but we still on TikTok. Tap in on the chat. Hit the like button, subscribe, get all our notifications. Appreciate y'all for tapping in.
Y'all want to talk a little bit about that before we get deep into the conversation? Mark that off there.
It's cool.
Yeah, he done threw out the TikTok already. He done hinted at it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it just happened.
So I guess what?
It just happened. Big T brought it back.
12 o'clock last night. It was no more TikTok, and I seen niggas distraught on it. I had a friend that said, I keep going back to the app off of muscle memory. I said, somebody get this man a care. Y'all know.
Who is it? I don't know.
I know.
I want to know.
Somebody get this man a care pack.
Hey, that man, A Black was on Facebook giving niggas hell about this shit. Saying that niggas sound like crackheads.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy, bro.
But according to TikTok, shout out to the president elect Donald Trump, Big T. Due to the actions of Big T, TikTok is now available in the United States again. What are y'all thoughts?
I think he played Biden with that because didn't he like introduce the whole idea of canceling it? They got canceled under Joe Biden's watch, literally, like because he was trying to save it, didn't do it, it shut down. Big T roll in there first day, first 12 hours. He's like, "Hey y'all, I got y'all. Don't worry.
He a man of the people.
Big T is back.
Hey,
TikTok for the people. Like that's a flex
for the company.
Another flex for the boy. And you might not like him, but the boy's smart. He know what he be doing. It wasn't an accident. The timeline played out the way it played out. It was not an accident.
And I was listening to or reading the statement from TikTok right here. I ain't gonna read the first part. The second little paragraph says it's a strong stand for the First Amendment against arbitrary censorship. We will work with President Trump on a long-term solution that keeps TikTok in the United States. Just to sit there, we talk about because it's a China-based company, right?
Yeah,
and they talking about it's a strong stand for the First Amendment. Y'all motherfuckers, it just sounds
shit
good.
Don't even exist where you type
exactly.
it. Like wherever you type it is from, the First Amendment don't exist.
Doesn't exist. Exactly. That's why I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, none of the social media spaces and places actually properly uphold the First Amendment. Like, you can't go in any of these places and just say whatever you want.
No, for sure.
Do
you think you should be able to?
I don't know. I guess that's probably like his own specific topic.
Yeah.
I know that they don't exercise it. I guess I'm not.
I'm
not really for censorship. So I probably at the moment lean closer to that, and I think the battle of good ideas should be won by the best idea. And if you censor something, you give it more power and credence, and now you kind of like push it to a space where people can run propaganda to say it's actually right because the elites are trying to stop you from hearing that. And it's like the funny thing is that you hear on like the they call it down the woke right and the woke left be blaming the same people for like the other extremes of the aisle and shit.
Hold on, I didn't hear I never heard the woke right. Is that the conspiracy right? What is the woke part of the right?
QAnon type people?
Well, like the white nationalists, like the ones that came after Elon. What's his name? Patrick Bet David, the Vivek Ramaswamy. So they now push woke as meaning like dealing with like racial identity almost and sexuality. And so with them, their hyper focus is still on like racial maintaining identity. White America being white. And so they called him an African American. They called tell Vivek, stop fleeing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah.
You use TikTok? You?
Nah. Only time I'd use TikTok would be if for unpack getting clips.
Yeah, I used TikTok for a minute. Then once we actually started doing once we started going into the Instagram, pushing the clips over here for the show to Instagram, I kind of stopped watching it. But I do like, or I did when I used to watch it. I did like TikTok. You know what I mean? I did prefer TikTok over Instagram and Facebook when I did use it. But we've been using these clips for me. That was months and months, maybe might even been close to a year ago that I was using TikTok. Really, you playing music, bro?
Yeah, I hear music. I don't know. We about to get
we about to get
yeah.
Oh,
okay. Never.
But yeah.
Anyways,
but yeah. I could see where people were liking it. But I think that it became because it seemed like it was different from TikTok. I mean, from Instagram, as like the hold that it had on motherfuckers. It's like I know people that sit and like watch that joint all day, like kids. Even like I have people that are close to me that I know that just will sit and look at these lives for hours. Like,
no, you good. I'm just
okay. This nigga pointing over there. Okay,
that was my bad. I was just reading.
Yeah. But like for hours watching these lives of these different conspiracies and like the aliens and like I can understand it being entertaining, but like for me specifically, a lot of that stuff, it was like, okay, but like let's say all of this stuff that they saying is true. What are you gonna do? What is like what benefit is it to knowing that like that star right there isn't a star and it's a whatever the fuck?
They've been on flat Earth.
It's like, what you gonna do though? Like,
how you feel about that,
what about the Earth being flat?
Yeah.
That's the original one that pissed me off. Like that's the original, but that's the original one that you want to see somebody hot. Talk about the Earth being flat, but not. I do like with the go back.
Talk about you really the anti-conspiracy nigga.
Mm-hmm.
I love it though.
I ain't anti-conspiracy, all of them, but I need. I gotta have a dissertation.
Which one?
I gotta have the sources. 9/11.
It's not really like a.
It is a kind of conspiracy.
It was at one point.
What do you believe about 9/11?
At one point that they knew it was about to happen and they let it.
You don't believe? Do you believe that they blew up the bombs that set off in the basement and all that? Do you believe that part too?
I don't know about that part.
Oh, okay.
That's where they lose. That's where I go for a second.
Going too far to change, so he out here like this.
All right, so Johnny, move away from that. Like you have like the most generic one conspiracy and only believe like the icing at the top. So what's an actual other conspiracy that you do believe?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I mean, probably not a
lot.
Probably not too many, bro. I ain't going.
That man said the aliens don't exist.
Yeah, he don't believe in too much in that. That's not like
No,
but ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hold on.
That's cool. We're not clouding.
Aliens do exist somewhere in space. They're just not here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we, if they are, we would never know. They're smarter than us, but they probably do exist somewhere.
Okay.
We just not gonna know. And anybody that tell you,
and they wouldn't come here, is what you're saying.
And if some dude down the street tell you he talked to one, he lying.
You don't believe in abductions and that. What was they doing in them fields? What was causing the joints in the field?
Crop circles?
Yeah.
Like the same way anybody like design like a mate. Like it's
so they was cutting their own shit.
Yeah. In the 50s, they was doing like symmetrical Egyptian-esque looking calligraphy.
So the farmer was
definitely
pushing their own shit.
Like, hold on, y'all not gonna get me y'all not gonna talk to me about crop circles and tell me like we not doing it. Hold on, because I'm supposed to circle back to the First Amendment and social media and like because you said it, they don't uphold the First Amendment, and I think of course they don't because these are corporations. They have their own corporate interests. I think. And it clicked to me when you was talking about. I think the only way we could have a true like social media, it'd have to be like almost like government based or something like public record where you can just say what you want to say. But any place else, there's gonna always be rules and guidelines that you have to play by. And that's the big issue with the TikTok thing is America. We didn't, our government didn't like the rules and guidelines that they wanted to play by.
Yeah, like Steve, this was another thing. I think that a lot of people like TikTok because what Steve says that they have a better algorithm. That's not the first time I heard that. And as a matter of fact, I think G was saying it. Yeah, it was G on Unpack. And when I was using it, I will say that like you didn't go to like because if you go on the search screen on IG, I don't know if it's the same for women, but if you're a man and you go to that search thing, a fresh IG. You're gonna see nothing but ass, pretty much.
I don't be seeing that.
I said with a fresh IG. Like just starting out on they assume the default is ass.
My shit got a bunch of memes on it.
I said the default. You've created your algorithm and honed your algorithm into.
I just wanted to put that out there. Ain't no ass on mine.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that's not. We're gonna leave that there.
You about walked off the cliff.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Maybe we kind of like pack that up. Where it's brought back, it could be a favorable play for and strategic play for Trump as one of those first little like points of contention, even though he was pushing an idea at one point in time to get rid of and ban it because it's Asian propaganda. Niggas is addicted.
China.
It was a fun 12 hours seeing you know how many Tyrone Biggums we have when it comes down to the social media addiction, and it was scratching. Y'all can look them stories right now. We ain't made 24 hours, so them stories still out there.
Damn, we got the damn. We'll wait till because I got a meme that plays to this how serious they were. Like motherfuckers,
it's crazy to go on another social media and cry about
the other one.
Other one, look at go.
Bro, this boy was up there talking about they figured out how to ban TikTok and they haven't figured out how my kids could be safe at school or how I'm talking about going ham, bro. I'm like, bro, what are we talking about? This is very serious to you all. This is very serious for you to be like go this far. It's just like whatever.
We lost,
but a lot of people do make money off of it, and I got a guy that I know for sure who made good money off of TikTok, and it was something that was going to affect him and his household very negatively.
But like, no, it's not because we're like maybe no because
true, Johnny.
Well, no,
like,
I think
people are making like 10, 50, 30,000 a month.
It's about how you can translate. Because Keith Lee, I saw the Keith Lee, he posted something about it too. They're like, "What you gonna do? What you gonna do?" TikTok going away, and he was just like, bro, and the whole concept of his video was it's not that big of a deal. There are other platforms for me to market my brand on, and
right. But that one is favorable. But he also is a UFC fighter. Like he's all right. He's already all right.
But the message though of the concept was just because TikTok's going away doesn't mean I'm going away. Doesn't mean my brand's going away. And I think
right. But you might not have as big of an imprint and market share on other places. Then you don't have like if that algorithm is favorable to you in what you do, and even throughout the course of having multiple ones, that's like your mainstay, your flagship. That like I guess it's hard to say that, and then they monetize differently too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's different, but to say that like it's not taking away your business. You still have the ability to market on other ones. That one just went away, but
it's a lot of like detriment. Like if you are TikTok big. Not big on other things. Now you have to restart.
Yes, and you do have to, but they're not taking away your ability to do it. You just have to start. It hurts, yes, but
nobody would make that point, right? I don't think that they would say like because TikTok went down, niggas can't monetize.
You just have to start over. That's a big fucking deal, Johnny. What talking about? That was hilarious.
I mean,
that was hilarious.
You gotta do what you gotta do, though. I mean, it's a lot like. There's people in Asheville that had to start. I mean, people in
are you serious, bro?
Let me stop.
Do y'all want to go ahead and go into the conversation here? So as we was talking on the end of the last episode, I had a topic that's really kind of made me feel away. And I'm going to ask the question, but I have an additional question because as me and Dave was talking, I think that it's important to know. Whether you are a fan of R&B and what type of R&B you actually like, that can kind of change the way that you kind of view the conversation. But the main question is, do you think R&B music is a result of our culture, or is the inverse? So is R&B music is the current state of R&B music a result of how we feel, or is how we feel a result of R&B music or the lack of? Does that make sense? Do y'all follow?
No, I think R&B the losing of popularity of R&B music is a reflection of our culture. It's a reflection of.
What do you think happened? You said the losing of popularity. Like,
yeah, I think because I mean I can consider R&B like love me. It's like love songs and songs about like a lot of stuff that don't old school love, but like our parents' generation love. Like when I think about like my grandparents and stuff like that, and that's those type of relationships don't exist anymore. And I think the music has changed as a result.
Niggas ain't in love no more.
Yeah, I was about to you opened a whole bunch of lanes for questioning to understand exactly what you mean. Because you ain't got to go all the way back to your grandparents to begin with. Like we had good R&B in the 90s. early 2000s. So like you ain't got to go to grandma.
Yeah, but also rap came popular, and they started falling off back in our grandparents' age. That's all it was the
like
Motown and R&B music, and that's all it was at one point.
I understand.
And then it in the 90s, there was still that, but it was definitely half of the other side was talking about
rap,
sex and drugs and all that other stuff that wasn't necessarily a part of like R&B music like it was in our parents' generation. So there was a change. It wasn't completely erased like it is now, but it started to change in the 80s.
So you
90s.
think that we as the consumers stop having the relationships or being in love as much?
I think the idea of it changed.
The content was just not palatable for where we are currently. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think there was. Yeah, I definitely think culture. The music reflects the culture way more than the culture reflecting the music. It's it's the result of what we've done and the internet age.
Well, why would that make? What do you think, Hugh?
Could you restate the question?
Do you think that the current state of R&B music is a result of the culture, or is the culture a result of R&B music not being what it once was?
All right, so I guess I get my first initial thing, because then I have to ask you a couple questions about what you mean by certain things. Mm-hmm. But I think that more than anything right now, even though I don't like hate the state of R&B right now, maybe I'm inside like a minority, but I think that is a reflection of the music industry more than anything, and what is like most monetizable and like what they believe is most pushed and consumed by the world. Not even like really Black culture, because the Black culture doesn't move what they put out inside like sales and volume and shit like that. It's what caricature that white people want to consume from their Black artists at the moment. So I guess I don't think that it's like a direct reflection of the culture, and that's what next question was going to be like. When you say the culture, what do you mean by that?
So it's a few different things that I've kind of seen. Like, see, Johnny, I don't necessarily know if I land where Johnny landed, say like we don't love, like there's the relationship dynamics, like people don't love as much as they did back in the day. I don't necessarily believe that to be true, but I do think that like the way we think about relationships has a lot of negativity to it. It's not so much, and I know I won't say, yeah, it's difficult to like to put in words, but go ahead.
But I guess like if I was to ask you, do you think that the state of relationships in the 90s was at a better, worse, or similar space?
In the 90s, I would say I definitely wouldn't say that it was worse than it is now. But I would probably lean closer to maybe the center, or maybe a little better.
And I guess to me, I would ask, this would be where this would be where I would ask you this question. When you're saying center, well, not even that. When you're saying better, worse, or whatever, state of relationships. To me, I look at the 90s. This is where we had like the biggest peak of divorces. This is where the crack era was pretty much that time. This is where we had like the height of like the single mother crisis. This is where we had what else was it? Like the teenage pregnancies and shit like this. This is the peak of like the system's like push of, demonizing Black people and putting it on like a large scale. And I, in my opinion, I feel like relationships during that time also was a reflection of that, when you just look at like all the byproducts of that. In which, I guess to me, it's harder to be like relationships were better then. I think the generation before, like when we get to our grandparents and stuff like that, and maybe a little of like the 80s, like I would say that relationships might have been a little better. I don't think that. Go ahead.
No, it's tough because like I agree, not like looking at it outside of what I remember, you know what I mean? Looking at it on like you said, single mother, like that was definitely the peak time for that shit. The teenage pregnancies, that shit was like You know what I mean? You could see if you're looking at the statistics the way that you are. I was thinking about it more from like my lived experience during the time. Like we was in love, like, you know what I mean? I remember being in love with every girl that I was, you know what I mean, writing notes in the fucking, you know what I mean? We were younger, so our love was like a different thing. But if you look at like my parents, okay, now I'm seeing what you're saying. They was fucked up. Like that there was a lot of yeah. You're right on that. You're right on that. Like,
But so then I guess what I was building to was to say that if the music directly reflects the culture, you would have thought that we'd have had like a lot of like that toxic waves and stuff like that pushed out during that time. In comparison, I think maybe a fair enough representation is that during that time, in my opinion, of what I remember from the 90s, not hip hop, but R&B, like you had, of course, like what's the Motown swing, New Jack swing, in which that's kind of like a little party-ish R&B, and then you got into like the quartet group shit, like the Boys to Men, and like all of that, where that was like love based, and then you had like a big market as well for like the sex music to an extent.
But that was all still love though. Like
you also had a little bit of
anytime you would get like the album, like of course you would have the sex music, but you had that love music in there too. The I fucked up music if it was a man. You know what I mean? Those tracks were, you know what I mean? You would check those boxes on the album like every time.
Okay.
Well, usually an album would be like a more like full like representation of like a relationship.
A relationship, right?
The courtship, the falling in love, the habits, the getting married, the breakup, the rekindling of it. Usually an album with like you'd have a song for like each one of those, you know, moods.
I don't know if maybe.
I think a lot of songs.
I think most albums
like even like one of my favorite R&B albums is like Jagged Edge, J.E. Heartbreak. That you go like that, it literally runs down from like the meeting to let's get married to the breakup to like moving on.
Yeah.
So like I think
I think that's like the example of like what I was saying was like the court like there was R&B groups whose whole basis was singing about like the Drew Hills, like all
Drew Hill, that's another one.
They were singing love music, but there was also a bunch of artists who like had different agendas, and it was popular as well. And I think that it's
like who?
Can you give me an example? Because I
mean, like the easiest one to always throw off is like R. Kelly. Like he made full albums about sex. Like Usher, like he had like 2 to 3. Like even if you go to like his early ones,
you can't use Usher though. Can't use. I give you Kales.
What I'm saying is that like
Kales didn't sing about love.
He did sing about love, but he had a lot of dominant.
You can go with Bobby Brown, like you can go with like a bunch of those guys.
H-Town.
Yeah, like there was people who
sex
pushed,
music.
Yeah, who pushed that as like their stick. What's her name? Adina Howard. But
she was nasty.
And even like people had genre albums that was like Janet Jackson has like a sex album too. And
yes, she does.
The thing is that like I think it was his own thing, but I think to me it was like half and half-ish. I would say, and this just goes with all albums. I think all albums previously had more diversity of the content. Where like now it's really like a few like the guys that's trying to be great. They're like they will do the whole like story like I got to make sure I got a story record in there. I got to make sure I got like the radio hit, an introspective record, and you can just go down the line of like what the popular hip hop artists do, where you make sure you check all the boxes. The rapidy rap one, the one for the females. Most rappers now there's just like Bossman D-Lo. It's 15 tracks of
the same,
almost the exact same thing. And I think that I can't necessarily. We'll circle back, but nonetheless, I do think like during that time, curation and artist development was better, so you got better full albums that had more content to it.
So and what do you think is the difference between, or is one of the? Are you saying that's one of the differences that like it's kind of like one dimensional versus where back in the day we were saying you would get the love song, niggas would end up in the desert singing about that how much he loved her. You know what I mean?
That was a meme about that nigga.
Yeah, we played that. Yeah. I played that one time. It was like niggas end up in the desert every time, like bro. But we don't get that at all no more. It's like our singers are so tough when actually the thing was back in the day that the R&B niggas was actually tough.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Them
A lot of
niggas
these,
they was actually tough.
Drew
Like
Hill, Jodeci, even the New Edition and the boys,
yeah.
like they would have whooped your ass.
Yeah, they say Michael Jackson to put paws in your ass.
They say he whooped Tupac.
Prince, I think he said I don't think he whooped him, but he was about to. I think I heard the story where he had checked him about forget the daughter that he was dating,
Quincy Jones.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, we don't even get like the goddamn the singers are so, I guess, tough. Their content is so tough now, or it's just like pure fucking. They're like, you don't even have the damn rap verse on the joint no more. You don't need it. You don't even need the rapper to say the raunchy shit that you don't say because you talking about it from a different space. You don't even need bruh no more.
I guess so. I get this is what I start off by asking you in what you're saying. So who are the R&B artists that you think exemplify that right now?
What exemplify what?
What you're saying? Like they tough.
Oh no, just purely just the fuck music. Like I think that like the guy that you like, I think
Brett Fayez, like he's known as like the toxic king. So I get him, but he's not even like one of the like the top of the food chain of like
Leon Thomas don't really say he saying about a lot of toxic shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the thing is that for me, I don't know a lot of the guys because if you give me that, I'm not listening to it. I actually like love R&B music.
No, you like Mutt?
He's that's a song. That's a singular song. When I listen to his album, it sounds like some knockoff R. Kelly shit.
Oh, but like trying to do it then.
Say it again.
Sound like he's trying to do the thing, like be a singer, be an R&B singer.
I don't know what you mean,
he's trying to be like if he sounds like R. Kelly, he's trying to do the R&B.
But you was just saying you okay. Well, okay. But I didn't really. I just skimming through his album. But anyway, like for me, I was like the there's plenty of niggas you can name. Hell, Unpredictable, that album.
That album is about
it's like the dynamics of
no, I guess what I'm asking you is who are the R&B singers that you're talking about? Like to me, if I think about Daniel Caesar, his music's not really like that. If I think about Giveon, his music's not really like that. If I think about what's the dude that did Candy Drip?
Lucky Day,
his music's not really like that. Like these are some of the bigger names that I can think of. Chris Brown, he do like 50 everywhere. Songs, but he be everywhere.
Yeah.
But who are you talking about?
I'm trying to think.
When I think about the females, the bigger singers like Ari Lennox, her music's not like that. Summer Walker kind of is like all over the place, but like she kind of makes like Jasmine Sullivan.
What's the other girl?
Jasmine Sullivan's a good one. Coco Jones.
Coco Jones. There's like all of them. Majority base is around like singing lovey.
So is it the point that you're proving at this point? Are you saying that you don't really see a difference in where we were versus where we are now?
I think like R&B just sounds differently a little bit, but right now I'm only asking who you're talking about, so then I can have a perspective on what you mean, so right. Understand and compare and contrast.
So the thing about I don't listen to a lot of the guy like I said. That's why I said earlier. Like if I was to hear it, then it would be something that I'm not interested in hearing. That's why I don't like your dude. What's his name again?
Who Giveon?
He talking about Brent Fayez.
Yeah. So like,
anytime he say he don't like somebody, it's always Brent, bro.
Yeah, if it's R&B based, it's gonna be him every time because he's the only one that I've seen like be popular and like a big deal. Like people talk about all of it and like niggas love it. I think that
Bryson Tiller might be there.
He's just like a fusion guy.
Yeah, but he kind of in that same lane.
But he's not toxic either. What about music about? It's like him being in love.
We'll pull your mic, bro.
Is it?
So what is like think about all his songs. What's his like toxic song? Like he has trap music background, but like what's his toxic messaging?
Is that don't? And I guess he not. I mean,
he
got one song that's kind of toxic, but that's just like one song.
Like you just think about trap soul is like him doing Loverboy shit over trap music. That was like
it's like what you pulling from. Like Papa was a Rolling Stone, that was like trap for them back then. You know what I'm saying? Like back then, the way that sound was and how raw that story is, and just transparent. That was
Breezy still a goat.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's why. Oh,
I feel like Chris Brown rising up, and I think that was like the. I think he's. I always blame him for where.
Bro, he always
Oh,
break
shit.
I always blame Chris Brown for where R&B is right now. It's like he's so fucking talented, and like I actually respect the man, but like it seemed like that was to the time where he's like got like the time period, him doing like the Michael Jackson and at the time he did it, it was like all of the genuine. It was off of like the real Avant. We was getting like some hell of an R&B, and then he came out. He was like the hardest. You know what I mean? He is what he is. You can't take nothing from him. But I feel like that was the decline. He started the decline.
He was like light skinned Bobby Brown. Like he like.
Yeah, I ain't necessarily like the biggest Chris Brown person. But who would you say? I ain't saying that he sucks or anything like that.
You gotta put some respect on him because he's definitely like to me. What I'm saying is that like you can't. He all right. You got to put respect on him. Bro.
I respect that.
Just the talent. Just the talent. Just the talent.
He's untalented. Like these are all like inferences that you making.
No.
He's not my favorite.
Oh no. I'm not saying
I never said that his music sucked.
Okay, good.
I didn't say he couldn't sing.
I didn't say that.
All I said that he ain't
You
my
said he
favorite.
couldn't dance though, right?
Yeah, and he got 2 left feet, obviously. But
obviously,
right. But I guess my point, or the question I was trying to ask would be, who do you think that he's influenced in this next generation that you don't really fuck with? And I guess the next question, a bit of like the premise of your question begs. So right now you don't really like the state of R&B in general, and that's a piece of where like your critique comes at, right?
Yeah, it's like the number of artists that you would see that are doing the thing. It's just different. I don't know, because like you look at hip hop comparative, like there's a fucking slew of hip hop that's just like that are the top guys are good, and then you got underground guys that are really 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 good, and like you know what I mean. It's just such a variety. So it seems like it just flipped on his head.
There's a lot of bad rap too, though, that you got to filter.
Right. But I'm just saying, it seems like.
But who's the sucky R&B singers that you don't really like?
Brent Fayez.
All right, so you got, but and I get that. So like to me, I don't even really want to put Brent in here because like
that's what I said. I don't think Brent really in the category.
So like you don't like him, so like that's his one thing, right?
See,
but now just speaking to it, who are the ones that, and I'm gonna ask the question, then I'm gonna give context real quick. Who are the ones that you're speaking about that suck at like in general when it comes down to R&B? And I ask this because to me, what you're complaining about is more so the label side where they're not pushing R&B as much. And it's not an emphasis on it, but because I don't really know like whenever I stumble across some R&B, this shit be kind of fire. Like Cleo Soul, that shit fire. Or I can you can just go down a line when you just stumble on R&B. A lot of times to me, it be fire. It's just not pushed like that.
You can be on SoundCloud.
And here's one for you: Party Next Door. He kind of is like a sex.
Yeah, he's toxic.
Like he's toxic, and he can't really sing that well.
Yeah,
like that would be like one for you.
Yeah.
And see, the thing is that like I wouldn't know the guy's name because as soon as I hear this shit, if you actually can't sing, then I don't want to listen to it. So I don't care how creative you is, but if you don't sound good, then I don't want to hear the shit. So I would just flip it, and I wouldn't even know who the nigga name is. So I understand what you're asking. I'm not gonna be a good person to be able to answer your question because I'm not going. If it's trash, I don't give a fuck who you are.
But generally speaking, when you hear new R&B that's not Brent Fayez, are you just saying like this sucks, or is it like? Oh,
I listened to Mario's album. Mario dropped the album recently, and I felt like that shit was buns. But it's that's what he's attempting at, like the newer sound of R&B. I thought that shit was buns. Young. That's what that sounds. No, I agree. That shit was for me. But to me, I guess I'm just thinking
about like newer artists. Like you wouldn't judge Redman's new album as like new rap,
unless he's trying to sound like a young boy.
But even like if it's good or bad, you really wouldn't put it as like new rap. This is an older rapper making an album. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to think of like who.
It's like somebody dropping 30 in the Big Three versus like the NBA.
Yeah, I'm trying to like who's another. Like to me, you don't look at Usher's new albums as new R&B as much as like this is a progression of Usher's career.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. It's like Otis from the Temptations making the album.
right.
Or you got the Temptations making albums in the 90s. It ain't really new.
Adult contemporary R&B.
He the only one still alive too.
Now
Shout
look,
out Otis.
artist wise, but production and musician wise, that's something that's like ageless. I feel like that's more like musicians and the way you're making beats and stuff that can progress to where somebody could be 45 but still be trying to make beats that go with the feel of what's going on. And I know production has a lot to do with R&B. Like the music has to tell the story along with the melody and the words. So,
and then, like, my bad there, but and I've heard the answer to the question. I think it is more industry. I was listening to Tank talk about it. What he said was that back in the day, it used to cost so much to promote an R&B artist, like to actually to create the music. It was way more expensive than rap music was. You know what I mean? The music videos, all of the studio, like everything was so much more expensive, and even the look was much more expensive. Hell, if the rapper, this nigga just in the hood, this nigga wearing some Bogues and a tall tee and some, you know what I mean, some Nike, you know what I mean. Fuck that, cut that out. But yeah, he was saying like it became so expensive, and so they started to cater more to the rap because it was just inexpensive. Like nigga could be in the hood shooting a video, and you just need a camera, and this motherfucker is gonna get off.
You want to know the funny part about all of that?
Hold on, but that's another thing though too. Is like with the internet age and like music being like so easily to make, like the home studios and FL studios and stuff. If you can make music at home, what you gonna probably make? Rap, rap.
Why?
Because it's easier to make.
Like
that's the very entry for rap in general.
It's a lot easier, and so it's a lot of people that can probably like make a rap song now. They probably can't do a whole R&B song, so it's like a lot easier to like push rap versus like a whole R&B album where you gotta get live instrumentations and
you know what else?
Just making it is gonna be a lot harder versus making rap. So you're gonna get a lot more rap now versus R&B, and so that's what we're fighting too. Is like it's a limited amount of R&B that can come out versus rap.
Man, that sounds like an excuse. Like the crazy part about it,
or is it a reason?
Look, the crazy part about it is if you look at like some of the stories of like look at Escape's story and Jodeci's story and SWV, even if you look at some of these stories, man, these people, them artists started out with like nothing, bro. They ain't really started out with nothing. Like they was making up stuff because they took the time to put in the work and they had the talent. The talent ain't there as much anymore. That's really the issue. I think it's more so about the production than anything else.
I don't think people are born with less talent though.
But the thing is, it's more so like people aren't developing talent the same way. So now R&B is more produced like rap is compared to back in the day. R&B was being produced from people who had learned how to play piano in church. Like that was a lot of it. They learned how to play drums in church, and they learned how to like
bit, but like when you take it away from the radio, like to me, because when I think radio, I just think of like Chris Brown being on the radio.
I don't disagree.
When you go away from him, like most of it, even with that "On My Mama," that song, the production on that is amazing.
It's not that I'm saying the production isn't amazing. It's that the sound of it sonically is not coming out the same as like. It's a different feel.
But then, like Coco Jones, sonically sounds fire.
That I see you.
Like Cleo Soul sounds fire.
I agree. I'm not saying they don't sound fire. I actually like a lot of R&B today.
Like production wise,
I just think the production type is different. So it's like the feel of it is different. Versus like even from if you look at the 70s and stuff where it was mostly live instruments, that feel is a different thing than like the production was of the 90s. Like
I agree with the night, but do you feel like?
I'm not saying it's better or worse.
I'm not trying to argue that. I guess what I'm asking you is of the mainstay of R&B art. Well, like the main grouping of R&B artists today. What is again, when we take Chris Brown out of it, what is their production type? To me, a lot of it is live music.
I think,
so, like, if you think again, like just let's try and run down who the most popular R&B like artists are, or the main ones, and so much of it is still kind of inside that lane.
Well, can I add something?
In my opinion, if you know differently, I'm just asking.
Like how I think stuff is being produced more so now is from sample. It's being produced about the same way rap is. Like that's pretty much the same thing. It's like that's what I mean. So it's a thing of it's all digital. People don't really. It's not so much about playing more than just knowing these certain things that you need to have done. Like
so, who will be? And this is where again I'm asking like who will be the main examples of that. Because like I agree with commercial records, it does end up being dumbed down. But to me, most of the artists that I can think of, their album cuts, even if I go with Tim's album, and even what she comes out with is like music based though. Like it's strings, it's chords, it's you know what I mean, like melody.
But it's a lot of synths. Like you have people actually who played the stuff. That's like that's what I'm saying. Like the talent has shifted to where I don't know if it's the same as. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this.
But to me, that's usually like that's just like one talented musician that has like a MIDI. In comparison to like back in the day, it's like downsizing the need for as much expensive production. But like back in the day, Motown, they had to bring in the chords. I mean, the orchestra. They had to bring in the drummer. They had to bring in the
yeah.
But you don't think that changes? You don't think that changes the sound and the feel of the production?
I don't know if
you're having a guy just playing the piano versus you actually having people that play these instruments that they're using and they're not just synths.
I agree, but in the 90s, there was mad synth still.
But you like, still had people who was coming out
like
of
the 80s, kind of like transitioned everybody from like the live music into the synths.
Yeah,
and then like during that time, that's kind of where the dolls came in.
Okay, so this is part of what I'm talking about. Like you look at how people learn. So you take somebody like Devontae Swing, who was like the influence for Missy, Timbaland, and all of them. Like they all was under him. Like Devontae had learned in church. Like it was a different, like he was playing piano in church. Him and his brother both learned playing in church. Like which how a lot of musicians learn. Zaytoven, like a lot of the great musicians that like really you can tell the difference between them. Like even Zaytoven on rap, not even just R&B. You can look at Zaytoven and rap and tell the difference with his beats just because of how he learned how to play. He's a real pianist. Like he actually learned how to do this thing. Like a lot of people are learning a technical thing more so now. It's a difference in like.
But I feel like even those guys, like what's the young boy get the baby at the street? What's
Stacks?
Oh, Jay Stacks.
So if you've ever been around him,
he's fire.
Like he understands how to like put beats together, but he just brings in musicians.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not taking away from their talent, bro. I think these new musicians have a different way of producing and a different way of thinking. It's just for emotion. Like I don't think the producers are the problem with R&B. Like I don't. It's a difference. Like it's like
I add something to be fair. So like we are judging this, like you're saying. I agree. I hear both sides.
I don't even know if we was like specifically disagreeing.
Well, yeah, not even disagreeing, but I mean, both points. I'm taking them in because I listen to just about everything. I just grew up listening to anything sound good. So I feel like with what you're saying, the digital era of it all, like we're judging inside a capacity where we're pretty much receiving perfect music. If you go from like the actual, like how we learned it back then, being in band, like a note, this note means this to this note. If you put them together, it could create this, it could create another frequency. Like from the education standpoint of it, everything is on the perfect grid right now. Nothing is natural tempos anymore. You know what I mean? Back in the day with live musicians, that feel is a whole nother concept because it's like, what can an ensemble do with the notes that they've learned versus now everything's just kind of made to be set up perfectly all the way through, whether we like it or not, like the
I don't disagree with that. Only thing that I would bring is that it's been on the grid since like late 80s up until now. Like if you go if you sample music, you understand this. Where like if you're sampling anything from the 70s, 80s, you have to line up your chop, quantize it, and then drop it up or down or whatever you're
It's a lot more.
In comparison, like if it's past like 85, 88, everything's already in sync into a BPM and it's like it's lined and gridded up. And so
I mean, like
I 90s guess music, if that's what we're talking about. Again, if we're going into like 70s Motown, I completely agree.
Yeah, but 90s since the 80s, even in the 70s, they had stuff gridded up or quantized or something. They had a way of doing it then. Like that's all. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, bro. Like on that
from the standpoint of like, okay, so like the Ray Charles movie, how they showed how he made that song Georgia, and everybody was in that studio session. So it's like, say all them record that they plug their instruments in, record everything into whatever mainframe. And then the engineer adjusts it and makes it to where it is on a grid or, on some sort of metronome or some sort of tempo that it is, that everybody's thinking of in common. versus like now you have somebody like you said, Zaytoven earlier. He's so talented playing piano that if you go digitally and just pick the instruments you want, but you know what you can play and how you could make something sound at the end of the day, but it's only you, then I guess that's kind of where I'm coming from. Like we have to judge in the capacity of one person can do the entire thing versus they encompass so much.
There's another thing also, like what you say about like even the recording process back in the 60s and 70s. Like it wasn't like the studios, a lot of stuff was like recorded out in the open. And so a lot of like the reverb and like a lot of the natural.
Well, you had to actually have natural reverb.
Natural. So they would pick different places to record. They would go play the piano in like the hallway to hear different sounds. And so there was different.
Something that they also used to do. If you've ever sat down with like a engineer from like the 80s and back, like their knowledge is like 10 times what any of the engineers are right now. And I used to work with the guy. He was like an engineer out in California for years, and he, you know what I mean, just life happens. He ended up in North Carolina, and you know what I mean, he was working while I was working, and like he was saying how like what they used to have like specific rooms in which they would play back the song in there to get the echo and kind of like they created the entire reverb. They had to create the echoes. Like when you talk about like saturation, he was able to give like the point that whatever of like the numbers and all that shit.
But I think stuff like that made the music sound different. Yeah. Like because like the reverb, you could do a really good reverb, you could do a really bad.
What we're talking about is going from analog to digital. Like that's kind of like the premise of this.
Actually, about to say that word. Yeah, the digitization of music.
And how much that affected
it. I think it changed like the soul of the music almost. Because
I don't think anybody argue that.
Yeah, I would say that's the main thing. Yeah, the frequency kind of changed because naturally, if you using different types of things to make different types of music, you're gonna get different frequencies, which vibrates different things. And that's kind of what I was getting to. Like the feel of the music is just all the way different. Like if you look back at like Ma Sharon was saying, she said she got a comment here. Luther Vandross, the Spinners, the Temptations, music that talked to people. Like that music felt different than like even in the 90s. I remember how it felt like growing up to the music, listening to that music. Like I know y'all remember the feeling of just hearing different songs, and it was like, that like Confessions album and all of that, like stuff like that. Like I don't know if we got that now. Like and it's some dope stuff. It's some dope stuff out. I'm not even hating, bro, because I like Cleo Soul. I rock with her. Snow Allegra. Lucky Day. Like Lucky Day. Sir.
Tim's on the ballot. She go crazy.
I rock with bro. I rock with a lot of them. Sir. Have you listened to Levin Cali? I rock with him.
What's that new white boy?
It's some people, bro.
Yeah, new.
I don't know. I ain't listening to Teddy Swims.
I'm not gonna listen to Snow right now. Allegra about the baddest white chick. I didn't tell Uma. I'm sorry about that.
Snow Allegra.
Snow Allegra, white.
Yeah, he's white.
I didn't know that.
Like, European white.
Yeah. Oh wow, bro, her music is dope, bro. That's crazy. Like I don't care because there's some other people I listen to that's white, but I didn't know she was white, bro.
But like the European soul whites be fire in general.
Yeah, I had no idea. That's dope, bro.
Like, I wouldn't have thought she
had no idea.
The frequency.
No, it's some dope artists. We just don't hear a lot of that music on the radio. I literally have to go look for a lot of the songs. Like Lucky Day's getting out there.
That was kind of my point. Where I think that I don't, like I said, when I go and try and find some R&B, I be finding some fire shit. It's just that I don't look for it on the radio, and I think that comes down to like the major label push for what they think that the mass of America want. And I don't think that the music is bad as much as it's just not pushed out there in general.
Yeah, and I think it's like okay, I say this too. This is my last point. We'll kind of go back to more of like the culture, the original kind of conversation. I think you can tell we're in a different time when like you don't ride down the street very often and see like a lot of women like listening to R&B. Like they listening to some Money Bag and some tough shit a lot of the times these days and banging that shit.
I don't think that's a reflection of R&B music though.
No, but I'm talking about the culture. So like is it? Do you think that we just don't want R&B now? We want all of the tougher shit, even on both sides, the male and female side. I'm just about talking about our community. Do you think that like we want that more than we want love music at this point?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the vulnerability piece. that comes with like the R&B music and being in love and like getting on like the internet age and exploring the options and being able to go on dating apps and do all of that. It doesn't, make it's not conducive for somebody to like make music that's about being in love, because like it's too easy just to like flip the channel and forget about it. You can just move on. You can listen to the next song. Like, and I think the music we like reflects that.
Yeah. So like, and that says a lot about where we are. That's why, like, initially, I know it was fun hearing going into like the, you know what I mean, the audio digital and like the sound of the not having the shit on the grid. Like those music conversations, that was shit that we really fuck with. But when we think about it, is it like, how is this affecting the culture currently? Like, do you see that, like, and I agree with what you're saying, that that's probably a part of it, like social media, like you actually having to like courting is not like it was before, because you actually don't value the motherfucker that you courting as much as because you just swiping left and right on the motherfucking phone. Like, you don't really care as much about the motherfucker, so it ain't really no.
Well, even think about our daddy. They couldn't, like, imagine going on a date with a woman, going home, and you don't see no pictures of her. You can't see her online. You just gotta
see it to the next time.
You can't see it to the next week. You see her, next day you see it. So
crazy.
Like the whole time you're just sitting there imagining, thinking about it, wondering, well, damn, I'm gonna say this next time. I'm gonna do that. You can't get on your phone and look at 10 other shorties or get 10 other messages in your thing. Like, you really gotta sit there and think about it. You may be able to go out to the bar or something, but that's like work. So it was a lot harder to do the thing. So like when you found somebody, you're gonna appreciate it more, because I can't just get on my phone and find somebody else that look just like you and replace you in 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I can do that now, but back then, my daddy couldn't do that. Daddy had to sit and that woman got on his nerves, or he wouldn't do that. He had to sit there and eat that and deal with it, and you go home and be mad, and it wasn't nothing. Yeah, it wasn't nothing to distract you.
Can you imagine they would have had Facebook in the 80s or social media in the 80s?
Boy, in the crack era, boy.
Bro, man, bro.
You'd have been all the time for that shit.
What? That would have been crazy. Imagine going to Freak League with goddamn IG.
Going live at
bro.
Crazy.
Hey, but you know what though? Because I got last thing on this one. So like, and another thing with how it changed culture wise, like the way it is now, the lyrics, like the stories that are being told, like that comment that was up earlier that my Sharon said, where it was the music that talks to you, the situations that people have gone through, and with stuff being able to be blasted so much, you get like that difference from, like say a breakup song back then was like maybe some Lenny Williams type shit or something. But a breakup song now is Chris Brown straight up telling you, you done spit your bread on it and it's all for nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or just they talking to you, but it's like we kind of in a different environment.
Hey, Karuchi, what do you say about it? Something like that?
Just let me ride.
Now, hey,
I just thought about it. I ain't heard no breakup. I don't know if I done heard a breakup song in a long time, bro. Like, people don't break up no more.
They
don't talk about the breakup. They just talk about how they feel like, or what they trying to do to make themselves.
That was like the last great rapper.
Well, some Walker had that whole breakup album.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Hey, but I will say this about the old heads though. They was out on some bullshit too, because Billy Paul was out on the other side of town with Mr. Jones.
Hey, there was always some bullshit.
Me and Mrs. Jones.
There's always been some
he
bullshit.
was on some bullshit back then.
You want? Well,
I had no clue what that song was about till I got older.
It just sounds.
I thought he was in love with
some.
I thought he was supposed to be with that woman.
You said which song?
Somebody's lady.
Me and Mrs.
Me and
Jones.
Mrs. Jones.
Oh yeah.
Bro, the music's so sweet on that. It's like, bro, this is terrible. Bro.
But if somebody pissed off at that song, think about Mr. Jones.
That was our band director name.
Hey, Unc got a good take here. Unc said, it's no good R&B music because no one know what love is. That's the one thing that R&B music had was love. These people don't love themselves, so how can they sing about loving someone else?
Man, it's some fire R&B out.
Yeah, but I think it's
Kamari, These Four Walls. That was a.
Nah, bro. I think the issue is labels, bro. We should start a movement. Like, it's the labels.
But you know what I was thinking about? You know what book I judged prematurely and horribly?
Who?
Fucking Summer Walker. Like, if you sat and listened to her albums, even the records she got with us, the little the duet,
Good
like,
Love.
Like, she looks like the Instagrammist of thought stripper like Build-A-Bear, you know what I mean, sex workers.
God, dog.
But
She
that's
definitely looks like a sex worker, bro.
But then you listen to her, and her music is soul based, harmony based. It's like
she's one of the best
such a
singers
weird
in the
little
industry.
mix. To me, maybe that's kind of like the sales.
That's what messed me up at first, because at first she came out and I liked the image, and then it just started getting wild, and I was like, bro,
have all the when she
it wasn't all that crazy stuff. I was like,
she didn't have all of that.
Yeah, she didn't have all that crazy stuff. But then next thing I know, I'm like, what in the world, bro?
It was like
I wasn't
earthy.
interested in listening to any of her music, and then I think maybe I was at maybe it was Rich Spot, and he pushed play on a couple records, and I was like, I would have never thought this.
What was the record she had? She had some record where it was like the video was like it would flash and she was covered in blood, and then it would go to something else. And I was like, that's what threw me off. That video, I don't remember what song. The song was fire. But
Is that SZA?
Maybe it is SZA. Maybe I'm thinking about SZA.
Because you said you liked how she started off.
Yeah.
SZA is who you're talking about.
That's who I'm talking about.
SZA was the blog era darling.
Summer Walker was the same way. Summer Walker was the same, because I found her on Instagram. Like
Summer Walker, the one with all the tattoos and shit.
Yeah, he didn't always have that. Like, I think the first Summer Walker video
played the guitar
on Instagram. That's where I first found.
She was earthy. She was on like some guapole
but it
type
makes
shit.
sense because her music still is that. Like it's kind of like harmony.
I know,
soul based.
I heard
but she just went crazy.
Yeah. I heard her on that Kendrick Lamar on the Kendrick album, talking about eating booty, getting her butt ate on the damn balcony and some shit.
Who?
Summer Walker. She got a song on the Kendrick album, not this last one, but the one before that on
Mr.
Morale, yeah. And that shit. I mean, I never really gave her a try, but her appearance makes me not give her a try. But then when I heard that, I was like, "Yeah, fuck no, this is just some smut ass shit."
She looked like R&B Sexy Red, but she actually has like
exactly.
They all changed into that, like you said, early SZA. She was cute, man.
Oh yeah, not SZA.
Man.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
And like her, like them. What is it? Control? Not what's the album before Control? What's the one with her in grass with computers behind her?
Yeah,
with the Weekend on it. Broken Clock. No, that's not it.
No, that's
on that song.
Oh, is that Control? And then what was her first album? With like Drew Barrymore and all that shit. Like she actually has a classic. That first album, she got a mixtape classic in her first album.
Yeah, Chris Brown first album was a classic too.
Okay, so this is something I always be thinking about, because personally, like, I have a hard time listening to a lot of women's R&B nowadays compared to like back in the day. Like,
I ain't never listened to no.
I ain't never listened to it like that either.
Like I said, that's the thing. When I was growing up, I didn't have no problem. Like, I used to listen to some of Mariah Carey's albums. Bro, Mariah Carey has some fire albums, bro.
Played no Mariah Carey.
Y'all can hate. You might want to go back and listen.
I'm not saying that.
Erykah Badu was fire.
I used to let Whitney fly.
Whitney was fire. Like, I'm not telling you, Whitney has some fire albums, bro. Bro, nah, I ain't pausing nothing. If you go back, bro, if you go back and listen to them albums, listening to women, we like women.
Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston.
Bro, it was fire, bro.
I said Whitney. He said Mariah Carey.
I say Mariah Carey again. Mariah Carey, dope, bro. Y'all can hate.
My thing is, I'm not saying that I'm right.
Y'all can hate, bro.
I always liked R&B from the male's perspective. I'm a man. I want to hear the male's perspective.
Bro, y'all listen to Mariah Carey, bro.
No, I didn't listen to no Mariah
Bro,
Carey.
y'all was jamming till we belong together in high school. Stop lying.
Bro,
we belong together.
Don't give me this.
I used to buy the album because
y'all was jamming to that in high school. Stop lying, bro. Y'all jamming, bro.
I ain't gonna lie. Now, as a man, like hearing like the ICU, that Coco Jones record, like hearing a woman give you like, you know what I mean? Those records are like my favorite records. Hearing women tell you how much you fuck with.
That's because you're a little more mature now.
Yeah, like that. I'll listen to that.
Wasn't there then, but
that's fine. Whatever you want to say.
Was cool. I just signed it. It just never was interesting.
Yeah, I remember
Mariah Carey.
Bro, she could think.
Bro, you tripping?
Like,
they could
sing like if you like
they
music.
could sing really well. I never give them. Take that away.
So, but you would
it
want
just
to.
was never a preference.
Yeah,
anybody would ever say that.
Bro, no, they had albums back in the day, bro. That's what I'm saying. They was dope, bro. I ain't taking it away.
I was just uninterested as well.
Lauryn Hill,
go.
Erykah Badu was when I started.
Yeah. I was gonna go. I was going both of those, but like other than that, I really didn't. Like I said, I like the male perspective. You know what I mean? The nigga that had the. You know what I mean? When you fuck up, you know, baby, I deserve.
Man, so y'all wasn't listening to no SWV, No Escape, none of that. You tripping?
Well, I mean, I'm probably wrong, but I'm just saying. I just wasn't interested.
Bad. I was not interested though.
Yeah, I'm just not interested.
Tone, I got you, bro. I was listening to the R&B.
Yeah, I was listening to everything.
TLC
So
back in the day.
when you was in middle school, when they sung about getting done bad by them men, how that made you feel?
I didn't feel
TLC,
Like I needed to respect women. That's what I felt like, bro.
That's
Like
why
I needed to.
That's why Johnny liked the T so much. He been listening to that side of the shit. He been wanting.
He gonna put the T.
That's what it is.
Don't listen to
I realize.
Are you saying like the T, like you like the gossip, or like the T, like they be transforming and stuff?
Oh no!
Either way,
I was talking about the guy.
I thought you were trying. I thought you were
Hey,
trying.
Unc Whitney. Unc say nobody can say that Monica's first album was not the shit. They gonna hate on it.
I didn't hear it.
They gonna hate on it.
I didn't hear it. Shit,
They gonna hate on it.
Hey, Brandy's first album, a classic.
bro.
Yeah, for real, bro. Brandy got that.
Don't count, sitting on top of the world. Like that's a classic.
If Brandy drop an album, I'm not.
You tripping? You not know.
Classic, bro.
Y'all don't even know. Y'all like, hey, sit there, bro.
I'm not interested.
The thing is, like, understand when we say we're not interested, that doesn't mean that we think they're untalented.
Facts. Or is that it's trash? It's not that it's trash either.
I'm not.
I'm just not interested. Like, if Tank drop one, I'm going to listen to that. You know what I mean? If
Bro,
we drop that,
but he performing for the Pride Parade and stuff.
What is that?
Cool
What is that?
Like,
What does that have to do with the
that man out here talking about it's okay to
I understand what he was talking about.
He said it's okay if a man give head to a man one time. Like, bro, maybe twice. It's not Jake.
Wait a minute, he said twice.
He said that.
That is crazy.
He said that, bro. But it's okay to listen to him though. But we can't listen to the.
At the end of the day, I'm not validating.
Who he saying to, real?
I'm not validating what he said. Y'all niggas, we done listen to a lot of gay motherfuckers throughout the time.
I ain't listening to
you listen to Jaheim and all that shit too.
Jaheim gay.
Oh, wait a minute. You put smut on Jaheim?
Oh, but hey, if it's not true, my bad, dog.
You couldn't have let I heard. I thought he was about to say Luther. We did listen to Luther and Tevin Campbell.
We know that. Hey, allegedly.
Y'all listen to Frank Ocean.
Yeah, that's all I'm about to say. I was saying that the other day. Some of the gay people that made the most fire music. I ain't gonna hate on
Frank Ocean tape in the hood from the hood. Like Frank Ocean, before people knew, he was dope as hell.
Oh, so you trying to say niggas? It was because they was hood. They just gonna steal your fucking Frank Ocean.
No, I'm saying people in the hood.
Oh damn!
What you trying to say about us?
Well, hey, you ain't never stole nothing, bro?
Nah, I was a clip.
Hey, Johnny. And you validate this nigga's point, right?
I know it. That was a good one.
Hey Johnny, how did it make you feel when you was on
Told gonna sit quiet with his thieves.
I was sitting there. I was working. I was on my first priority for a second.
Hey Johnny, how did it make you feel when you was at USC and the Upward Bound Boys came out?
No, Trey said that. I didn't have no issue.
What you have to deal with?
I didn't say nothing during that whole conversation. I didn't even know what Upward Bound was. I had no clue.
I don't be knowing about none of these stories.
They were just the members at the school. I ain't know what it was.
Upward Bound.
They was treating you away, Johnny.
We was matching. I was matching with the Upward Bound boy. We wasn't.
You know, love, bro. They was boxing you out too.
I ain't know what Upward Bound was. I ain't never.
I don't believe you, Johnny.
Them real niggas on the campus.
You ain't got like, cause now see, I ain't say nothing about no Upward Bound nigga. Why am I answering Upward Bound questions? I ain't say nothing.
You remember that episode we were talking about? It was like the male female thing, and Johnny was saying that there was it was like a DEI program, I believe, at the college that was getting you in. And you were saying that there was a male version of it too. Whatever that program was, there was a scholarship thing. Yeah. It didn't exist for men.
What didn't exist?
Or it didn't exist. It wasn't both sexes. It was one that was just. Oh yeah, it didn't exist for men. It was a scholarship for Black women that you was trying to say. Oh yeah, it was men too. And yeah, I heard that shit's not true.
What scholarship was it? I only remember.
You the one said.
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember the conversation.
Yeah. You just.
I remember what scholarship.
Hey, you got to pay attention. Johnny will shoot one out there, bro. He'll throw one out there. Just to make his point valid.
It wasn't too many episodes back.
Yeah, it wasn't too many episodes back.
What makes you say that it wasn't one? Like what scholarship program was it?
I can't remember the name of the program, but Johnny was talking about the program as if like it was on both, it was male and female.
Right. But what makes you say that it wasn't a
he
male
was saying
of it?
Well, because Johnny, because yes, me and Trey was talking about it.
What I think it was Johnny was saying it was only for males and there wasn't a female version of the scholarship.
Oh,
there was.
exactly what it was.
Oh yeah, so then. So was it not a female version of it?
There was a female version
There was
of
a
it.
female version of it is what I'm saying.
He said there wasn't. Then it was just for males.
Specifically for men.
And we were saying it wasn't anything specifically for men.
Yeah, that's what the
okay, then I might have misspoke. Then I might.
But it was one specifically for men, but it was also a female version.
Right.
No,
it wasn't one. It wasn't. It was a male and female thing. If you was a male, you would go this way. A female go that way. It wasn't like a fucking. I guess if you could say specifically for. Yeah, it's two different. It's the same program, just saying black. It's really just black folk. Really, if you think about it, if you're gonna have one for male and female,
I agree. Like it's a diversity program,
right?
But it is one that's specified for men,
and then one.
It's like 100 black men and 100 black women. These are the same umbrella, but they're different organizations in the sense of like they branches of each other.
I know that was this whole rant was.
Yeah, I was like, where did that even come from? I was thinking about that.
You gotta watch
just because you wanted to tell me I was wrong, bro.
No, I just want to.
Now we just having fun piling on you for a little bit.
Yeah.
Man, wanted to stop the whole show to tell me I'm wrong. Hey, 3.5 weeks ago,
I got smoke for you, bro. Man,
this right here is why Rail doesn't need to get that USB DJ. What's the little call?
Oh yeah, I gotta get
that nigga gonna record scratch everything.
Bro, I'm
Johnny, you also lied.
The record say here on January 1st.
Nigga hit the record scratch on it. Nigga. All right, so I feel like have we kind of landed this plane in this conversation? Do you feel like it's something that any part of it that you think we haven't addressed? I learned my lesson from you last week. We haven't addressed when it came down to this.
Oh no, that was cool. I think it would have been fun to kind of look at the. We kind of did get to it the way it looks like in the culture like currently, and it's crazy like to think that we've gone, but like do you think it's like social media? Do you think social media or what is it, dating apps is the change that makes it so quick that like the love music is like not gonna be a thing because everything is happening so quick? Do you think? Because I remember Johnny, you were making that point, and I'm like, bro, that it does make sense. If all I'm doing is this right here, there's no attachment to it, and then so you're so easy to be replaced.
Well, instead of being heartbroken nowadays, why don't you just get a new?
Exactly, it's no
like the heartbreak songs shouldn't be a thing.
And then you got the reserves in your inbox.
Got the backups.
So you know what I mean? You never really gonna commit 100% to a thing. So the breakup ain't shit. Niggas ain't going to the desert no more because you know what I mean. You ain't no need to.
Now to feel it.
Niggas ain't singing in the rain no more. Think about singing in the rain.
Yeah.
Ray J did.
Yeah,
hey, that's crazy.
Man, it's crazy, bro. That you don't even get that feeling that inspired that no more.
No.
Like,
I think that says a lot about where we are, bro. Like it says a lot about where we are and where we're heading. I hope it gets better.
So what you're saying is that women is the reason that R&B
that ain't what I said, bro.
Ain't good no more.
That ain't what I said, bro.
we either too damaged or need good R&B to come out.
R&B no more.
Huh?
They twerking too much. That's why R&B stopped.
Oh no, I think they want to be thugs. They just tough. They'll fire off on your ass.
Bro, I really feel like that's part of it though. Like that's why it's hard for me to listen to. They tough, bro. They tough now. Like,
hey, when you see like a real feminine woman, it just stands out like a fucking sore thumb. Like if just in the walk and everything, that shit just stands out. It's so rare that you really see it.
Just be walking around tough around you?
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm talking about. There's a complete difference between like a feminine woman where you can see the essence, and then like a woman like the average. On regular, you see a bunch of like regular walk,
I'm
like
gonna
I
put the cape on for a second because I think
I believe you will.
My Sharon got the song right here.
Hey, hold on, but I think he's being a little unfair because real. I think a lot of women, especially like with the modern society, women like in male, especially like a woman that's in a male dominant society, she's gonna have to put on a little more of like a non-feminine role. But that don't mean like when she back at the house, she not feminine or women don't.
Oh,
like when I see women walking into Target, not at Target. I don't know.
They might not be like women. They might not be friendly if you come up. Hey, you should smile more and like try to talk to them.
Is that what you meant? Like they be.
But if y'all don't know what dude, when you see a feminine women,
that's
I'm not saying that they like it doesn't have to be from one extreme to the other. I'm just talking about that it's just like regular. Like, but when you see a feminine, when you see that essence, it stands out to you because it's not seen very often. If you go back to like
it's the vulnerability. That's more so. I think like you're not getting a like. she put in All I Need Is Understanding. It was Escape that sang this song. But What I Need Is Understanding. You're not getting no women really giving you that necessarily nowadays. Like it's not gonna be the sensitive version of it. Like when you piss a woman off in a song nowadays, you getting told off.
Oh, you're
like,
talking about music, right?
Yeah, like the music is totally different.
Both ways, and like, you see it too.
Yeah, it's in the culture too. It's not the same.
Cause all right, go ahead.
They not fighting for no man no more. Like the way it is, like it's not the same. Like back in the day, like even in the 90s, they were singing about still like they was heavy cheating. They was definitely singing about cheating the whole lot in the 90s. But like it was a vulnerability to it. Like they'll tell you like they needed they man. They don't need us now.
I
bro.
say this: Beyonce and them made cater to you, and she got Jay-Z. So
and that was then. What's she making now? She telling these girls, y'all don't need no man.
Well, she did make Lemonade. That was like the last.
Yeah, but then they also made the Carters, which is like a black marriage album.
What year was that?
2019.
Like 20.
God damn, that was quick, Johnny.
I just was listening to it like.
Yeah, I was about to say that was after Lemonade.
Yeah,
like they pushed that.
Y'all be listening to Beyonce's albums?
No.
Okay, I was making sure I had to check.
Speaking of that, I did have another.
I mean, I did
though,
run the new country. I mean, I ran it through. I ain't like save it, but you got at least.
I heard it.
See what she talking about.
But I do listen to Solange.
Oh, yeah.
Solange is fire.
Solange fire, bro.
but to me, like once it gets into like the neo soul, the content also changes a little bit.
And that's what I like. That I love neo soul, bro.
That neo soul, the drums and shit. That shit just feels so good.
Yeah, that it's still neo soul is what has still continued to progress. I think. I don't think that's being held back. It's just not played on the radio. Somebody need to make a neo soul station. Maybe we should look into doing that.
But you know, love songs have differences.
But people do.
Love songs have differences to them. Like the super old Gladys Knight that Saha used on he sampled that joint on that NAACP. But you remember it was looping that part where she's like, isn't it ironic all you want to do is smoke chronic? And like that's like the old Gladys Knight and the Pip song. And it was like it was a love song, but she's singing about this dude that she loved, but he's so strung out, he's letting that take over his life more than he's falling in love with that, but she loves him. So that's a heartbreak, but it's still a love song. So that's like a crazy ass story that's raw enough for like somebody who comes from a lifestyle that they may have had family members do drugs. Hell, they might do drugs. So they may relate to that more, but that might feel to them the way something like Let's Get Married from Jagged Edge may feel to us. But it's like, think about the perspective they come from. They just come from just a strict progression of like how that would happen. You meet the female, y'all spend time, and you want to let's get married. But something like what Gladys Knight talking about is the same as like the type stuff I hear Ari Lennox may sing about. I feel like she could be drawn from that era, or like it's like what people are pulling from, like Monica and Aaliyah and all them.
We kind of like Ari Lennox. It's just that she got a dog face.
He don't like. Yeah, he always talk about her. I like Ari Lennox, bro. I ain't gonna hate on Ari.
Is she a whiner? Like she get on the internet.
I don't care for her interviews.
She do seem like she do seem like
bro. That's his trigger right there, bro. He say the same thing every time he's gonna bring it up. But I like Ari, bro.
He called it that.
Think so.
He want to talk about her. I know he want to talk about Ari Lennox.
Dang, bro. He called her a dog face, bro.
Angry. This your Jumbo is ready to.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch a dub today. Watch this here. Damn.
Y'all can fight for the first. I'm going second.
Dang, bro. You make y'all fight every time.
Bum ass thing.
Hey, they don't never catch how you be making them fight like over the first one. They never catch how you just make
it. Fight again.
Yeah,
you be making them.
The thing is that long as Johnny loses, I don't mind what happens.
Every time Q win, he just be like, "Y'all entertain you, Jessica."
Yeah,
like,
yes,
entertain the king in the court.
This is the warrior class right here. I know they.
Entertain me, you peasants.
I want to make sure my guys Paul Schwartz is sharp.
Yeah, dang, I didn't even want to go on with the metaphor no more. Like, we want to continue the metaphor.
All right, Tone, pull me up. Pause.
Oh man,
Dang.
too many pauses in here, man.
But that's what makes it like when you reach a little bit, it becomes so fun.
Yeah. It does. Damn, where my girl at? I think it's that white girl.
Who
right
was
there.
it that said that hate the pause game? Was it Tariq? No, it was
Lord
Jamar.
Jamar. You remember? I used to feel the same way.
Yeah, but now you
It's certain times you got to. Yeah, it's just egregious.
It
You
does.
just said something egregious. You got to use
the one
egregious. That was
like,
egregious.
Was he the one that was like,
Oh,
you got to
shit.
be thinking
Gay.
about it?
Yeah.
To even.
It's
be-
because y'all niggas got gay shit on y'all mind all the time.
Nah.
Y'all was hot about this shit.
yeah.
He tired of it.
Shit, first you got it. And then it was hilarious.
Let me get my
He's also
TikTok
a
one
flat
off
earther.
first. Yeah, he is a flat earther. Let me get my TikTok one off first. Go to that white girl right there. They was hot, bruh. Look how far she went.
Ban does not radicalize you as an American citizen. You are intentionally missing the point because it's not about TikTok. It's the fact that Republicans and Democrats across all legislative branches can expeditiously and unanimously pull together like never before and probably never again to streamline legislation, banning a social media app while completely ignoring everything important to us. They can't pull together to make sure my kids don't get shot while they go to school, to fix the economy, to mandate livable wages, to kick hedge funds out of single family homes so I can afford my fucking mortgage again. They're doing fuck all about homeowners insurance, stealing billions of dollars from Americans and then leaving them for dead while their homes wash away in a flood or burn to the fucking ground in a fire. They, like every other country, can't pull together to outlaw the poisonous substances that are put into our food, creating an epidemic of obese, diabetic, cancerous Americans who need to lean on a healthcare system. They do fuck all the mandate in way of quality of service or cost. They won't give us free healthcare. They won't invest in infrastructure or education. But all of their
Yeah,
efforts.
because she made a whole dissertation about that.
I guess like she didn't say a bunch of wrong things.
Yeah.
I'd also say like she's clearly she's part of the woke left. She's a progressive for sure. But then there's like this point where like two things could be true at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of what she said, I think that you'll find a lot of agreement point. But that one, TikTok and this legislation isn't new. Them pushing for this is like something that's been in the work for a very, very long time. But then there's no real legislation well, not even that, but for let's say a kid bringing their parents' gun to the school. How do you legislate that at all?
But I think there is a law now, like, because
how are you like? What law do you have that's going to stop that kid that wants to go into the school from getting their parents' gun and doing it?
But I'm saying it's illegal because there are some parents. It was a school shooting. It's in Maine somewhere.
When they charging the parents,
they charge the parents.
Yeah,
right,
but that doesn't stop
the most policy they could do is just a no weapons.
Yeah, like it's still going to happen. Like I agree with the hedge funds getting the fuck out of homeowners, but that then becomes like it's such a bigger argument in the thing to happen. Like when you talk about like it actually getting done. I'll leave the floor. I think she's conflating. Yeah, it's just two things that ain't got shit to do with each other.
And that was like my part was my thing is like, of course you can listen to it. So there's some validity in some of the stuff she's saying. There's some Stretch Armstrong there, but for this to be coming from TikTok, and you can say, oh, this is not about TikTok, but it is about TikTok. What you're saying is like you're saying that they were able to come together and do this, and then they couldn't do all of these little things. It's like, okay,
like these are way bigger.
That's the damn TikTok videos, bro. Be sitting there and you listening to it. If you don't think any further than it, then you just gonna fuck around and go. Yeah. And
hold on, let me. I think like you say, a lot of the stuff she's saying
that shit
is because like she's getting the TikTok version of these things, and she's just saying like
that's their China
that's their problem, but it's the abbreviated, it's the headline. She just reading all mad about headlines without reading the whole article. Secondly, I guarantee there's a man somewhere in that house wore the fuck out because she probably be yelling, doing this, and her husband probably in the corner right there.
I like, God, damn.
Will you shut up?
Here she goes again.
and he don't listen to it. So now she on TikTok.
Right. That's what I be saying about them white women. I said it last night. Y'all be acting like these white women
are like
who is y'all?
And this is like a proverbial y'all.
Okay.
I know that y'all brought it up earlier or yesterday about
What did I
white
say?
women? I can't remember.
I'm
I'm just speaking to like the overall point.
Yeah.
About white women being made as like homemakers and shit like that.
Oh yeah, he
These
said,
motherfuckers
they were trained to be wives.
That's what they trained to be right there.
Mm.
Most feminists are white.
They trained to be a Paul.
White dudes don't control their white women. Most of them be scared to go.
Like all that happy life shit comes from white.
Yeah, and I mean, you can tell like the white men are at a point where they're just very tired at this point.
They took it to the internet too.
Yeah, they're very hot.
And all them motherfuckers.
They're very hot about what's going on. But y'all don't eat up my goddamn time. I'm trying to get through some of these bad boys. Go to the eggs and the bacon on the John.
No. You said the eggs and the bacon.
Yeah, eggs and the bacon. This joint was funny to me. Go up.
You got honey packs in here, bro.
You got
honey packs and socks, bro.
Hey, just pull that one up first.
Grippy socks too. Somebody.
Hey, read it. Pull that one up.
She don't stand a chance tonight, bro.
I thought that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, them grippy socks.
Them grippy socks.
Grip socks and the honey packs.
I was like, damn, I gotta get some socks.
I'm standing.
I never thought about that.
Look, there's somebody over here talking about don't get it.
You never thought about it.
Never tried it.
I'm standing 10 toes in this motherfucker.
Like, I'm tired of slipping. I want my control.
What?
You got them hardwood floors.
There you go.
You gotta get
right
Yeah, I got the hardwood floors. So you definitely. That makes sense. I never thought about that. The hospital socks. People like, no, the hospital socks.
Bro, I always kept the hospital socks. My mama used to be like, I don't like them socks. I'll be like, I love them. I love these socks.
Pair of socks, bro.
A
free pair. Well, you probably paid $1,700 for the socks. This is real.
That's so funny, bro.
Go ahead, eggs and bacon. This shit was hilarious.
This is some bullshit, Steven. This can feed a whole family. And you're gonna eat this bomber clad thing with 3 pussy clad thing there. That is some fuck with Steven. We can't support you no more. No. Get the fuck out of the house. Look on the bomber clad plate of egg. How much egg you fry? 6 bomber ass clad pussy bomber blood clad egg. 6 blood clad egg.
I'm sorry. That pussy clad, that shit's hilarious to me.
You name 6 egg. You know what we can feed by 6 egg? Huh? We can make a dinner for people. A big dinner for like a whole family. 6 egg. And how much bomber clad bacon? That come like 100 pieces of pussy clad bacon.
Hilarious to me.
And you top it off with 3 bomber clad egg.
3 bucks.
No. No, this is it. We're not doing this no more.
They don't think it's funny. It's just hilarious. That shit had me in tears, bro. That shit had me in tears, bro. I ain't gonna lie. We gonna go.
Be the whole house.
I guess. Oh, give me the one below the eggs.
They must catch him today, thinking slick.
Oh.
Watch him, I gotta try to close the door. Make sure him not close the door. Don't close the door, him not pay no rent. My God, who is that? That's right, who is that? Blood clot. Me have to catch this on camera. That's why the earbud I gave him can't hold no ear. He loved the big butt girl them. I can't believe my eyes.
Oh.
This is Miss Cheryl.
Oh, shit.
Miss Cheryl, how was church? Fitra, you're wicked. Go wash your big back, girl. They must catch him today.
This is a voiceover of a different clip, but it all kind of like sits the same. Where to me, if I was like posting that clip and I had to do the hashtag tax season.
Oh yeah. Facts.
Oh, you said tax season. All right, give me old girl in the
she
red
get good tax. She get good tax money, bro.
She getting about $8,000 back.
She ain't got no ass either. She get good tax money, bro.
Hashtag cosign.
Right.
Oh man,
she gonna co-sign for that charge.
Yeah,
you said her.
She's gonna be signing off on a whole bunch of shit.
Now this one's got this. I guess I'm gonna stop here. This one right here might.
Oh my God, I'm officially divorced.
Oh, damn, this was you say what I thought it was. I thought this was the one about the taxes.
I'm officially primary
Erica
custodian
Mina?
of the kids.
Yeah.
Who's that?
What about the child support?
Like one of my housewives.
That's it?
That's Safari's wife, ain't it?
Yeah. She ain't
Tony,
get
that's
Is
crazy.
that the one who did the porn tape?
I don't know a lot about them.
Are you
Maybe there's some Bow Wow
gay,
thing in
man?
here too with her or something. Johnny know
Not
more than me.
all of this financial
know she did
burden with my
porn, but-
children is on me. Ah, this is up. Oh my god.
Scrappy trying to slide in
What-
there, bro.
Was they playing around?
He trying to slide.
And I guess I thought that this was something else.
I would love to see the opposite POV of like when he found out.
Oh, he probably would turn. He would turn.
Yeah.
He probably never mind. But so I guess I would leave that in. Y'all heard about? I don't know. I haven't done any research on it, but I'm pretty sure you've seen it come across your timeline. They was talking about if your old lady puts you on child support that she can't claim the kids. If you pay child support that she can't claim your kids on her taxes, only you can.
Is this like a new legislation that's just passed?
Yeah, I don't know if it's passed or not, but I thought that's what I thought this was. That's what I thought that was.
I mean, that sounds fair.
Yeah, I like it. I just don't know if that exists yet. But I'm an advocate for that.
That sounds fair as hell.
Yeah, I thought it was super fair. I think it's definitely like
almost makes too much sense.
Hey, they gonna be hot. Quee finna be hot about that shit.
You know what's gonna happen? It's gonna be they gonna be coming hollering at the fellas for the tax season.
Hey, they gonna blame it on us tough, bro. We voted for. We didn't vote for come out. They finna try to flame us on
I think
that.
It'll just incentivize working things out.
Exactly, and I think that like we've seen what the incentivizing the single mom. We've seen what that looks like and what it's done to the community. And I think not even just our community, even in the white community, the same thing. You know what I mean? And it's definitely been to the detriment. So like, yeah, now let's start reeling this shit back in. Let's start reeling it back in. Let me get one more, bro. Go the old buddy right here says, babe, can I? It's right above the girl that we just watched. And then I'm done. Just
babe, can I be a stay-at-home wife? I don't give a damn what you do when you get off work.
I thought that was funny too. All right, I'm done.
Got it. I guess let's mine's are gonna be fairly we'll see with one of these. Go to Wiz Khalifa. A little humor here.
Rapper Wiz Khalifa with wife Mia Khalifa. Oh, that's jacked up.
If you know,
that's not.
That's if you know, you know. I wouldn't take a picture with that bitch.
Yeah, I would.
You know who she is?
You know you get it. Pull up your Twitter real quick.
I don't got Twitter. I got rid of
X, my bad.
What we doing a show, bro?
I just want to call Captain.
They even changed, even the fact they changed the name to X. Like, yeah.
My ex gotta do it.
You was front
next meeting.
You was front. Yeah. Calling out the caps. That's what it was.
That nigga Johnny is shoot a little baby live. Yeah, he was just shot a little baby live there from
fellas, everybody with a spouse, a girlfriend, a significant other, if you may. Could you go to Mandy, top right?
Oh man, hold on.
Ready? Sucking.
Let me start that over.
Here goes some good reasons to suck. You ready? Ready? Sucking, they say, can decrease the risk of breast cancer. A study found that women who perform oral and swallow semen 1 or 2 times a week may reduce their risk of breast cancer by up to 40%.
You telling me we wouldn't have to been running on these goddamn 10Ks if we was just sucking?
No, apparently sucking also slows down aging. It exercises and tightens your facial muscles. Sucking improves blood flow to the teeth, gum, and hair. It's also a great exercise for your jaw and neck.
I can see that.
It can make your lips fuller. Sucking draws blood into the cheeks, lips, and gums, thus making the lips appear more fuller and well moisturized.
That sounds like a lie. Let me tell you something. Whatever man wrote this article is a fucking sick fuck.
You think so?
Suck my so you can get your full lips. Suck my so you won't get cancer.
This is definitely a man.
That's the one I'm
Here
using.
goes some good.
That's the one I'm using.
The cancer.
I just wanted to, give y'all some ammo the next time. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't think the filler lip thing where even though you use whichever one
it's a bunch of stuff there.
It's gonna help you.
I'm pretty sure Sarah.
November, we wearing pink. Let me help you out.
Oh, next November, this going crazy. This going crazy.
This is gonna turn up for breast cancer awareness.
Yeah, like I want you to do self-advocacy.
But ladies, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
This is for y'all.
It's for you.
What's most healthiest 2 to 3 times a week.
That's all. That's just healthy for the both of us. Actually, you're getting the bulk of the benefits. If you look at it,
I'm just being a good supportive partner.
Right.
I'm advocating good health. That's what I like to say.
I want you here for a long time, sure.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, fuck all y'all.
Yeah, Sarah, I think Sarah's lips debunked that last one already.
Who?
Sarah's.
Sarah.
I was just coming up with a name for her.
Oh, this is like a proverbial Caucasian.
Quite women. Yeah, just a proverbial Caucasian.
They get surgery for that. Could you go to the second down on the left?
Second down on the left, right here.
I mean, I think abuse is abuse.
Well, I see this. Yeah.
Okay, let me pose a question to you.
Talking to Mike.
Let me pose a serious question to you. And we're all against abuse. Nobody should be hitting nobody. Let's put it that way. Don't hit me, or I might hit you back. You don't let's not put our hands on each other.
Right.
Let's have a talk.
That makes sense.
Okay. While we talking, I tell you to shut up.
Okay.
Do you think it's wise for you to keep talking?
I mean, I think abuse is abuse.
Hold on. Let me get that well one more time.
I mean, I think abuse is abuse.
Well,
no, that was hilarious.
But all of it was hilarious.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so he had consensus agreement with, hey, let's all keep our hands to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Then my nigga said, hey, if I tell you stop talking, do you think it would be wise? This is from the well to that last point. If I was a betting man, what would you be betting?
What's the money line that he has or hadn't? What?
We'll just say over under. If he didn't put hands on a female.
Over under once. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he said, "Do you think it would be wise?" Like that's some.
Do you think it would be who of you?
Hey, shut up. You know that sounds like some color purple abuse right there. That sounds like Mister. Do you think it'd be wise? That's somebody that's done it.
That's we got to bring that back to this generation.
What?
Do you think it'd be wise? Just
like clarify what you mean by it.
Just to saying that. Like I think.
Okay, not in this context.
Yeah, but just to saying if somebody do you think that would be wise? I think that's a great attention getter.
Yeah.
What about saying that to women?
We'll say it to anybody. I wouldn't say it.
I'm about to test that on my girl when I get home.
Just tell her that would be unwise.
That's gonna be a good one. I think it would be wise.
Do you think it'd be wise to keep talking to me? What might happen?
Wisdom. Wisdom.
Yeah.
I was asking a question. I just was trying to figure out if you thought it would be wise or not.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, like that. That's the. Nonetheless, that is my time. Those are 3, I think.
All right, what you got, Johnny?
Pull me up.
Pause.
Pause.
I know which one you won't play.
Which one?
Go ahead, just go through whatever you want to do.
You said you scared.
I ain't scared of shit, but give me bottom middle row, second row in the middle.
Right here.
Do-rag, yeah.
Do-rag. That just make it easier for me.
Reciprocated for me.
Let me start over.
You want me to provide safety for you, but you cannot reciprocate it for me. I deserve to feel safe too. A number of black men internally, their internal world is not safe. And yet you want me to provide you with safety that I don't even know for myself. When I say to you that you've harmed me, you give me this rigmarole, that's not safe. When I tell you I'm tired, you get so wrapped up in your responses that you don't even give me the space to be fucking tired. That's not safe. I say to you that I don't feel connected to you. I say to you that you are not meeting my emotional needs. I say to you that I do not feel the way that you talk to me is uplifting, and you continue to do it. That's not safe. But yet you want me to continue to go out in this world and come back and do all of this stuff. You don't want me. You want your idea of me. And if I don't fit that idea, you begin rejecting me. That's not safe.
That nigga is a poet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I thought that was tough.
I like everything besides for that ending. He got way too dramatic with the ending, but I like the point of what he was saying.
Yeah, I think he articulated very well, because this thing I think a lot of men feel, and we try to express it. We try to be like, we doing this, but there has to be, a give and a take. It has to come both ways, and I think he, did very well. So that's why I threw that one up there.
Yeah, no, like I said, I like it. I just hate the poetry slam ending to it.
Yeah, it was definitely.
It's always it's hard trying to sort that stuff out when you're in the midst of it. Like trying to explain what your real intent is. Like in the midst of the fallout, it's always in hindsight where it's like you may realize something about somebody else or realize what you meant.
Yeah, it's crazy how you can tell somebody can say something to you about something that you did to them and how they feel about it, and then you can just literally you'll say it to them when they do it, and it's like you only recognize when I do a thing or when I make you feel a way, but you can do the exact same thing and still not see yourself in it. Does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying? It's amazing how it's different, a whole bunch of different. But yeah, I think that was a valid genre right there. You can go ahead, John.
And then let me get Candace.
Straight from the back in the chat.
That gangster rap was intentionally encouraged, and then they found some people that were just straight up actors to play this role of a gangster. And one of those people is obviously Tupac. So let's just watch this footage. You may forget this. Tupac was an actor, and I'm pretty sure he was not a heterosexual actor either on the basis of this clip. Take a listen.
Most like my mom because I'm arrogant, totally arrogant. I agree. I have to say it. Like at work, I can't hold a job. I just quit my job today, actually, because I wanted to come and do this. And they wouldn't let me. And I felt like it was important, and it was more important than serving pizza. And we had enough people. So I felt like since I'm an actor, they should understand. They should have let me do it, but they didn't. And then I had a cold. So they were making me work in a freezer. And I'm really not one to be disrespected. And I felt like that was disrespectful.
That gangster rap was intentionally encouraged. And then they found some people.
I seen the rest.
Like he talks about standing on top of the thing, smoking a cigarette, and he does
I ain't gonna say what he would do when the bedroom door closed. I don't know, but that wasn't a gangster. Like it is a clear persona change from.
I think most people kind of
hit him up,
recognize that about Tupac. It's not like
a hidden thing.
Yeah, hidden thing.
Even like digital underground. They talk about. They used to talk about that. Yeah. If you go back and look at them videos,
like revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean,
then he became
Bishop.
Then he became Bishop pretty much.
Like I just always forget. I always forget that there's that other side of Tupac. And
that they say in that movie, All Eyes on Me, right? That's the name of the movie, the Tupac. Right? They were saying that I can't remember who they were saying was going to initially create the movie, but they were saying that there was a scene. The reason why they didn't allow him to do it or they took him off the project was because there was a scene of Tupac being raped while he was in prison. And they should, of course, Suge is messy ass nigga. So Suge said that it was true. But everybody else says that it's not. I'm only saying I don't believe the shit. I'm just only saying that because of what she's talking about. Which she's definitely out of fucking pocket. This is to me, it's completely unnecessary. What was the reason that she was even having that conversation?
I think that the full framing, if I remember, this is when she was speaking about how hip hop had been propagated to influence Black people negatively starting in the 90s. and that they hired whether it's like the conspiracy that we all talk about.
And I mean,
like,
I agree.
Like this isn't like a Candace specific take as much as like this is just like one of those popular narratives in which like he's used as well as like one of the examples where he went to acting school. All of his trajectory prior to going to Death Row was all, you know what I mean, like
performing arts,
activist, dancer, and then it made this quick shift, and then they line it up with the whole little meeting and all that shit. That was like the overall thing. Okay. I think she said that maybe it was like some FBI COINTELPRO in which they made sure that they got like, I think that was the point that she was making.
Okay.
If I
I'd have to watch.
Remember when that whole moment was happening? We had like that whole argument with on Unpack, I want to say.
Oh yeah.
Using one of her tweets about
this.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really like look at. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be some. You can't sit here and act like, you know what I mean, when you can be young and be doing some questionable shit, and you young and you kind of get a bypass.
So let me ask you this: when you
absolutely not, that was just never a thing.
When you was young, when you used to talk, how your hands used to do?
And the same shit they do right now. Fuck you, man.
Like, was you good at
never was the thing, bro.
Boy, never was the pearls.
Like but then you like the funny thing, like open-handed, like that.
Oh man, I didn't do it cute. I didn't do it cute. Let me put it on cue real quick. I didn't do it cute.
My hands don't open.
Back then, how did you breathe? Did you have like deep? I'm just trying to understand. When you was a young boy,
my nigga, the way he was looking at it just did.
No, you should have seen it.
He's all the way in character.
I'm trying my best to kind of go through like what he was doing.
Yeah.
So Johnny and Tone. So while y'all was listening to Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey,
and my hands weren't moving like this.
I was throwing up GD listening to Whitney Houston. I was throwing up rates. All right, I got one more. I believe on the funny one. Click the top left, the first one. You can read it for me.
If you don't find farts funny, then you're a loser because you're choosing to have less joy in your life, but the exact same amount of farts.
Hey, them niggas be getting hot about the fart, boy.
That's for real.
I definitely believe so. I was watching this video.
Put an income level to fart around.
Did I?
I don't want to fail your ass.
No, hey, the funniest thing I saw was like, the funniest thing, but this dude, he called his wife. She did something to him. I think he was snoring and she slapped him, and he ended up waking up and he got them put. You know how you can put.
It's called a Dutch oven.
Dutch oven.
Like when you fart under the sheets
and just make a motherfucking sound in that bitch.
Dutch oven.
Hey, I called old head one time and got them locked the windows on his ass.
Y'all niggas.
That nigga was hot, boy.
Yeah, I don't mind farts around my significant other or in places with really good ventilation. If we're inside enclosed spaces with no ventilation, I just prefer not to smell it.
Yeah,
of course you prefer not to smell it, bro.
Yeah, so
bro, like why you got to do me like that? Yeah.
Like it is a
violation. I gotta swallow your air.
It's a violation.
Yeah, like
it's doo-doo particles floating around in the air.
Literally,
Like,
I prefer to be able to walk away.
I'm getting to know you too much.
Yeah, like I shouldn't smell your lunch.
That nigga didn't drink water.
It smell like garlic parmesan. I'm done.
I'm farting too much. I just go take a shit.
I'm done.
All right, I actually got a couple of them that I saw in y'all's that y'all didn't play, so I'm gonna play them because we all had them. So, but I'm gonna start with this though. This wasn't in either one of y'all's.
Oh, I just bought it. Nah, I just got it today. I'm finna play it. Nah, bro, I just bought it myself.
We got a deal. Why I can't buy that bitch?
Nah, bro. Bro, hey, chill out. Hey, it's a camera. It's a camera across the street, bro.
Say, cuz.
What up?
Where the hell you from?
I'm from around here, bro.
You trying to sell a PS5?
Nah, I just bought it for me.
Let me see that motherfucker.
You can look at it.
Hey, what up? That's a 5?
Yeah.
What you finna do with it?
Shit, finna go play the game.
How we gonna sell it to me, man?
I don't know, bro. I just got it.
Hold up, bro. You walking too fast.
What?
G,
what you talking about? Some snap? No, bro. Hell no.
Yeah, but it's see, I don't like propaganda like that. Only because like everybody's mic'd up, so you know that it's fake.
And yeah, nobody's stealing like.
Is the game in that box though? Or is he just try? Oh, okay. He just
I done seen him do that multiple times though, like in different neighborhoods. Like
I think everybody in on the video. Though.
Yeah, it's like
ain't nobody walking.
I think even one of the clips was in the exact same spot twice.
Are they mic'd or is he mic'd?
I thought he was mic'd. That's what I
But
thought.
she's also like, look how far away they are, and she's mic'd when she talks.
What you doing with that?
Oh, I just bought it.
You finna sell it?
Nah, I just got it today. I'm finna play it.
Hey, hold on. You got a brand new PS5 look
It don't sound no different than like it sound like a camera, bro.
Nah, bro.
But everybody gonna ask him if he's trying to sell it before they sell it.
Hey, it's a camera. It's a camera across.
Nah, it has to do that to hold you up.
I don't know if it's real. I'll just take it. I thought it was real when I seen it too. And I don't think that's not something that wouldn't fucking happen. Like if you're walking down the street in the hood, like that could very well happen in my neighborhood, especially back in the day. This is getting better now, but like back in the day, you walking with a fucking box, you know what I mean, of a brand. You could get that bitch took, bro.
You can, but is it
like
I'm saying? So if you walk with a box down.
Imagine like back in the day how the neighborhoods were set up,
9 times
Boulevard
out of 10,
homes,
they
and
take
like
it
all
in the
those neighborhoods. Bro, that shit would have happened. Double Oaks, like that shit would have easily happened to you. So I mean, to act like this is like some crazy fucking thing that just isn't realistic.
But the thing is that this is the over dramatization of the said concept. Where is it possible? I don't think that right here. This is like this is painted in the idea that maybe this is inside like a very small stretch of time, and everywhere he walked in this neighborhood is niggas trying to rob him for this PS5 box. And I think that's an over dramatization, and it just like, and I know the dude that posted it, that's Angry Man, in which they all push like this idea of black what's the word, like in essence that black
Crabs
people are
in the
innately especially hood is innately prone to doing criminal activity.
What are you talking about when we say like we already talk about the lower socioeconomically you are, or the neighborhood, the more poverty than you are, there is more crime.
It is more, but this is an over dramatization of it.
Yeah, it doesn't randomly happen. Like
not at this hyper level of like, so every time you walk by anybody outside, they're going to rob.
So like, is it impossible to walk?
I mean, that ain't what I got from that.
That make it seem like
that's what they pushing. Then I would disagree with that.
That make it seem like it's impossible to like take a box in the hood, and every time you do it, you're always gonna get robbed.
Well, I would tell you that if you take a fucking brand new PS5 box down the street, niggas get robbed for much less in the hood. So if you walking around with a PS5 and you are just a small, child looking, that shit could very well be. And I ain't gonna know how many times out of 10 it's gonna happen, but I would tell it would be who of you not to fucking do it if you want to keep it.
But it's just if you're walking by the wrong people. The average person in the hood is not going to
do that.
And that's to me that's the picture that this is painting.
Oh, I mean, like, I don't get. Okay, go ahead.
Like,
I didn't get that.
I was wrong people. They will rob.
I more so was thinking about the stigma when I seen this. Like as far as like which neighborhood do you feel like? Do we feel safe in our own neighborhoods? Like, would you feel safe walking around? Like I wouldn't. I know undoubtedly I wouldn't really necessarily. I would probably feel safe just going in a white neighborhood with a PS5. I don't know if I would feel safe just walking down. Trailer park. You're right, sir. Yeah. But even then, in certain cases, depending on where the trailer park at, they got to be the rednecks of rednecks. Like most of them trailer parks, they minding their business too, bro. They don't like
most hood is niggas minding their business.
I agree, but I'm saying like I'm just asking about the stigma.
Well,
like as far as like, is there a stigma amongst us that is a false stigma at this point that may have been real at one point?
Yeah, like the part with Q that I agree with is that is exaggerated because that looks like a concentrated area that's probably impoverished. But what I will say is that it may not be at the extreme of getting robbed. So it may not be impossible to go in hood areas. But me, I'll just go anywhere. I just look at it like I need to go where I need to go. So like if I'm on Beatty's 4 and I'm like, I need to run in the food line real quick, I'm gonna go to that food line.
That's what everybody.
And so that's the thing. Like my only point is I do feel like in a black environment, we do have to know that you still have a perception that can be put on you like you might have something.
Right.
Because it could be days I have my work clothes on, and that's when everybody's like, hey, you got $1 I can use, you got this, you got that. But if I just go like this, then they may or may not bother me. I just kind of, I guess I'm blending in.
Mm-hmm.
But if they think you have something, they will at least like question you about it or something. And maybe not that consistent or that extreme, but it is paid attention to versus in the white neighborhood, they probably would just ignore you if you have.
But you get the attention paid to you in the white neighborhood too. It's
yeah, well, you're just the problem in
it's
their
a different
neighborhood.
type of attention.
Yeah.
But as far as like your ears being up, being on high alert, like
Don't even park that car with it too long.
yeah, or like if you like in the hood and see a cop, you might not like, okay, whatever. I'm used to seeing it. If you in a white neighborhood and see a cop and you the only black person, that heightened awareness, it flips on this side. And now you're looking like, damn, wait a minute. I'm being a target again.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily just like,
because like the
you
white
know,
neighborhood,
the
they may
hood.
call somebody on you in the white.
Yes, I mean, like
Black
so that being
they'll
alert,
come up
and you're
to
gonna have to like, there's anything can happen at any point.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's just like, you know, you have to be careful of like when you're in the hood or watch out because like it can happen to you anyway.
And I guess one of my perspectives on this, and maybe eventually like this blends into like a later conversation, is that like I think that something that I was privileged to have happen was that you grow up inside like specific areas, and even in growing up in that like Marlboro Road or Genesis Park, and this is like during like the Fairview Homes era or the Double Oaks era, any of that, or Drew Hills. Like we can stop right there first, and it's just like normalized as regular people. And it's not like crime and all this crazy shit that's happening daily or anything like that.
Exactly.
Like it's kind of regular living, and it's even its own community inside that. And I think that gets exaggerated. Like I'm be honest, like it wasn't until I got older that the picture was painted that Betty's Ford and all this shit was this worst thing. Like I remember like walking up and down Betty's Ford all the time. But then where I think I was privileged at is the fact that the beauty of drum lines and bands and all that shit is that they all were concentrated in what was described as the worst hoods in Charlotte.
Right. And when we got out of it, we saw the
heart of Betty's Ford Road. We used to practice right there on the playground.
Yeah.
You talking about like Delahaye Courts. We used to practice in the middle of the field where the projects all circle around. You can go to Boulevard Homes. You can go to South Side, and every single one of these places. It wasn't like this crazy Greenville. It was like this hyper concentration of just criminal activity, and most people in this area are just really good people.
Yeah, I think there's also a different like and I'm not debating. I think that like we definitely well, let me say this: as a child being in the hood, that's different than being like, let's say an adult, and it's also like there's a population of people that are getting into the shits that's going on,
of course.
And then but the majority of people are just there because this is where they can afford to live, and they're just regular people,
really good people.
Yeah.
And like there's this this minority of people that do the things over inside those spaces, but like this is like now let's take away the band and shit like that. So then like we be hanging out with Jamil and Trez and them in Drew Hills, and we walking up there and like we young kids, so like we trying to talk to like the girls on the off days and shit like that. Same difference with like shit. You know, I used to talk with Deshauna. So I'm walking up down there to the heart of Betty's Ford Road, not as with playing drums and shit, but as a tall ass 6'1", 6'2" teenager. You know what I mean? With baggy clothes and shit. Like I'm just a regular ass person, not thinking much of it. Same difference. West Boulevard, like pulling up, and this is even when Trey's inside like the wheelchair and shit like that. Just pulling up, chopping shit. Where to me, I think that I'm just privileged, and this is not like don't go places that you aren't familiar with. Don't go places that you don't know, kind of like because all this shit can and will happen if you're unfamiliar. But the majority of people in the space are not these bad actors.
But see, the thing is that, real quick, that like somebody snatching a game ain't as big as like what in your mind what you think can happen to you in the hood. Like that even the dude was like laughing and running. Like you could see at the end of the day, nigga,
ran in a circle.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, even let's not even use that as the example that you're saying that you don't believe that it's real. Like, I think that like snatching some shit, that was something like as a kid, you might have done somebody, you might have seen that shit happen. Like, you know what I mean? It's not violent. You know what I mean? So like,
well, robbing a nigga
it is violent.
But I mean, that's if you snatch some shit and
like
run,
maybe,
that's not really violent. That's just you snatch like some shit.
Robbery is like a violent offense, though.
But I'm just there's no violence in it. I understand what you're talking about.
One of the clips, he snatched it, and then the other nigga came over top of him like that,
jumping.
Yeah, but I understand. But I'm just talking about just because I said we weren't using that because you said that's.
But
fake.
typically, like if you're getting robbed, there's a sense of force that happens with it. Even if like you're saying, like a person asks you something, and then they took it like that. Like even if we're talking, maybe you're talking about like these one-offs where like the person just like really fast. Usually, if a nigga's taking something from you, they're taking.
If he's taking it out your hand, it's violent.
It's a force of something.
If he steal your bag when you're not looking, that's not necessarily. If you put it down and somebody take it, I'd say that's not violent. But if they're coming up to you and forcibly removing it from your hand,
from your physical person,
from your physical person.
Yeah, I mean you could make it, but I don't feel like at the end of the day, I don't think that like something like that would have been like, oh my god, you know what I mean? Like to me, like that's like normal shit. Like in high school, walking through the valley, that shit could happen. When back in like 05, 06, that shit could very well happen. Damn near like.
I agree with that, but I think that all I'm saying is that it could have happened. And you walk past the wrong people, it will happen. I don't think that as he just painted this picture, it's going to happen like that.
Okay, so I just want to make this point real quick because I want to stay on this topic too long. But like if you look at, let's just take this to another area of things because that's really where I was trying to get this conversation to go towards. So say you look at like Food Line on Central Avenue versus Food Line on what's a good white neighborhood? Let's say W.T. Harris and Mallard Creek. Over there, there's a difference in the shopping, and even like Walgreens and all these areas. Like there's a thing in our stores that we're predominantly in our neighborhoods and everything where there's a feeling of. I'm trying to figure out how to explain the stigma, and I think we're the ones creating it still. Like even like where
I can understand it.
Like where we need to establish safety within our own neighborhoods is basically what I'm trying to get to.
Or normalize being around black folk. Right?
Yeah,
like,
that too.
This is why, like even to this day. So to me, what feels most natural is going to the Food Line on Bettysford Road.
Yeah,
I go to Walmart because like all the worst one, but that shit I actually really enjoy because that's what I grew up on. Like I
don't enjoy that shit because they don't be having shit in the store. Like
you know, like
they don't be having that.
No, but
just
like I ain't worried. Like I'm not specifically talking about like purchasing stuff, but I don't mind being around the people that I grew up around.
Yeah,
and like to me every time because like I can be inside such an insulated space sometimes that just walking around and being in that space like it's almost refreshing in my opinion. It's not a very moment of me feeling scared. Like when niggas, like to me, I always think it's corny when niggas be like, oh, that's sketch. That's a sketch spot. That's a sketch gas. It ain't been one time I'm scared pulling up at the gas station over off Sugar Creek when I get off there.
Johnny was scared.
Right.
But that's
time out.
He about to say Johnny ain't from there though.
First of all,
I get it.
First of all, I wasn't scared.
Well, you told me you were scared.
It was a joke, but I wasn't.
So now we
bro,
joking.
I couldn't have blamed you if it wasn't a joke. I would be scared if I was from there too.
If you're not from there at that Shell station on Sugar Creek,
but nothing happened for me to be scared of. Like I'll just be scared because of a location, or like I'm just sitting.
All right, y'all, listen. This is the first. This is the next conversation we're gonna get to.
Okay,
the hood versus suburban. Y'all can hash that out then.
All right.
I was just making it that. So to me, like I said, being from there, and that's why I say like proximity and like your understanding of these spaces does matter. But I always feel refreshed. Like I'm never, and this is also not a plea of like stay in the hood and like what's the shit that the rappers be doing? Like where they come back to the hood and flash their money and get robbed and all this crazy shit. This is not that thing either. Like what is it? The Boosie, leave out your hometown. It's okay.
Do you think it feels refreshing because it's not your daily reality?
I mean that's pretty much what he said though.
Yeah, I think that I've never not had, so I'm more uncomfortable around like the well-to-dos and the whatchamacallit, like the like well-to-dos and the whites, to be honest. There's a place of normalcy that I always will feel around just regular black people.
Yeah.
Like like if you know my people, like it's just mad regular black people. Like it ain't no way that you hang around my mama long enough and be like, oh, this is like a regular black person.
Yeah, and I think that I think
and to me, like, but that's where everything that I've ever known been. You look at all my people is regular ass black folk. Like my Aunt Nancy, that's regular black folk. My like you know Misha, my husband, that's my uncle. This is not like I feel. To me, I just like that's where my comfort zone.
Feel more at home. Yeah.
Now I understand what you're saying, but I think we also like Charlotte is not. Maybe North Charlotte was really bad. Like when we were younger, during our younger years, North Charlotte was really bad. But when you look at it, like you could, there wasn't really too many neighborhoods in our childhood that you couldn't really
Fairview
like,
Homes,
go to.
Fairview Homes like got shut down because of it. Like when I got when I moved into Genesis Park, there's the like maybe it's still some of them still there today, but there was all of the intersections had the like the barriers there to stop drug traffic. Fairview Homes, it was literally like Trump say build a wall. It was a wall between our two neighborhoods because of the shit and the beefs and shit like that. It wasn't like I didn't like it was still like the reality of what was actually happening. But go ahead.
Yeah. Only thing what I was going to get to, I just cut right there is that like generally the things that the people that things happen to most often aren't innocent people. Most often when something happens to someone, you're involved in the thing, and then you know what I mean. So it's not like this like a fucking you can go to the hood and it's just like it's just like random people. Yeah. So like I'm that's not really the. But I think even with that regular shit happening, the nigga walking down the street with the goddamn Xbox, PlayStation, brand new in the box can still get that bitch. Especially in a neighborhood where nigga don't know you. It's different than nigga know you live around there. That's different. But if nigga don't know you and you in that neighborhood walking down the street with a fucking brand new game console, you asking to get robbed.
No, I have one more thing real quick. I have one more thing on this because I agree with the whole thing because like I do landscaping, so like sometimes we'll have to do a HOA that's like a uppity, you know, white, you know, neighborhood, and it's crazy because it's like I've done properties that are like up to $8 million homes, and those people don't bother you at all. But then you get to like that upper middle class. They're the snooty white people that feel like you're a problem, but it's people that pay way more that don't even give a fuck. But then we'll have a property like in Salisbury or something that's a black neighborhood, and it's just like so subconscious. It's like in my spirit, I don't even realize it, but I just feel at home. Like they'll just like it was two little, like you said, it's kids outside playing. It was two little boys that ran up to us. Was like they could have been like maybe 10 or 11. They was like, hey, how much y'all get paid for this? And then we was just like, not enough for when you get our age, but you can make like maybe $1,000 a week. And they was just like, for real? And I was like, yeah, you probably at least got to get 16, 18. But you know what I mean? It's like just the innocence and like they see we black men, they young black boys, and they just come right up to us, ask us that. You
Representation does matter. I ain't gonna like because that like well that's gonna push us to a different little space, but
Yeah, so I'm with you on that. It is that breath of fresh air. Like, man, at least these people understand like where I'm coming from.
Okay. Let me push this forward. I can't remember if I played this one last week or not. I'm just gonna do this last one. If I played it last week, let me know.
Most people don't have perspective. They live in a world of perception, how they perceive the world around them. So that's what we learn at CIA. Individuals live with a frame of reference around themselves. They're the star of the show. They're the center of the universe. That is an inherently human thing to do because humans in our evolutionary process and the pink matter that is our brains, we're always worried about survival. We've never outgrown that. While you and I are sitting here in 2023, our brains work in essentially the same way as they worked in 1823. And because of that, it views everything around the individual through a lens of perception. What I perceive is real to me. To hell with what you perceive. What I perceive is the truth. Reality is reality. What CIA taught me was a better way of explaining what reality actually is. And reality is that 98% of human beings are trapped in their own perception. So the 2% that live in the real world that have perspective, they are able to manipulate the perception of everybody else. Most people don't have perspective. They live in a world of perception, how they perceive.
Well, I got two things. One, no, I think that he what he said is completely accurate. I wouldn't put it at 98%.
I was just about to ask that.
I just don't think that like the number he said.
Uh-huh.
I disagree with that part. Two, Johnny, tell us about cameras.
Oh, so I'm looking at
It's coming. Come on. I know he teased you up for this one.
Hey, but then he got that out of my. I had that.
No, I didn't. No, okay. Let me tell you something.
Okay, maybe you didn't get it out of mine.
Yeah, I had it last week.
I had it in mine too.
So before I showed it, I just said before the show, I already had these, and I had the same one as both of y'all. So I was gonna show them.
I misspoke. My bad.
Goodness gracious, that bro was ready to hate. I was about to show receipts. I got this shit in my head from weeks back.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, listen, I know what tone. I mean, not tone. What Johnny was going.
Oh yeah.
As soon as I heard it.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you see January 9th right here. I played it from when I put it in here.
My bad, Tony. My bad. This ain't trial.
Goodness gracious. Let me show y'all. Y'all see January 9th right there.
You innocent, but perception and perspective are two very, very important things, because like you said, we all got different perspectives. We all looking at stuff the same, and based on our perception or based on our perspective, our perception is going to change. And like I think the best way to get a great worldview is you put 4 or 5 cameras in a room. Even NFL, what the NFL got now, they got instant review. They got the sky cam. Motherfucker catch everything. It catch everything, but it's POV. It sees everything, and it has the best perception of the game versus the sideline cameras versus the pylon cameras, and that's why they added that big camera up top, so you can have that better perspective and a better perspective on the game and life in general.
I knew it. That's the hand thing.
Oh, he's trying to be professional. He's trying to be professional.
Your job is watching.
They know. Hey.
Oh, okay. I just
shout out to the boys. But
all right, let's that then. We get that. I ain't want to show them the nigga.
But no, I like that tone. I mean, I like that meme tone. That's that's something I've said before. As far as I try to use that to help me understand when I'm blind to certain things, because I know I only got one perspective of things, but talking to people with different perspectives let me see if I might be flawed, or I might be fucked up, or am I just in my feelings. So yeah, it's good practice. Definitely good practice.
All right, any other takes?
No.
The perspective, I just agree with it. I don't think it's. I don't have enough.
Oh, I say like, and that's something that I if y'all know me, I often, like I said the last time, I search for criticism or critique. So I like to know what people like. People, when I was growing up, I felt like I cared too much about what people thought, right? So I got into a space where I was like, well, I don't care what people think. Most of the time, when people saying that shit actually do care what people think. I think we all care what people think.
They don't care about the bad things they say. They care about the good shit.
Right. So like, but then like at this point, I like to know what a person thinks, like, because oftentimes I may not be I may not be presenting or how I want to say this. My perception of myself may not be what you see. You know what I mean? It may not be what you see, and it's not necessarily that I'm not trying to be I don't want to say this. Damn. It's not necessarily that I'm not being intentional about what I'm trying to push, but it just may not come off to you the way that I mean for it to. You know what I mean? I may be.
You mean I might perceive something you're doing in a different way?
Right. You may perceive. Yeah. You may perceive what I'm perceiving in a different way. And so, like, I'm the type. Like, I like to know what people actually think. Like, I tell you the whole story so that you can tell me what you actually think, because I want to know if I'm actually wrong or not. You know what I mean? So I want to tell the entire story where I fucked up, what other person fucked up, and shoot me straight. Like, you know what I mean? What do you think really happened? And I'm probably going to ask more than you, because just because you tell me this doesn't necessarily mean, you know what I mean? Sometimes if I kind of was leaning that way anyway, I'd be like, you know what I mean? If I'm kind of leaning like, damn, that was fucked up, but I do have some validation on it, but maybe I still just went too far. You know what I mean? So then asking somebody, you know what I mean? But like, I like to like get the opinion of what my real what I'm presenting. Like I always said, like, man, I wish I could be a fly on the wall where y'all two were sitting talking about me. Just to see what you actually got to say, like, because I don't mind the thing being said, you know what I mean? Or like anybody, like my sister and my mom talking, and I wish I could be a fly on the wall to see what they actually say. You know what I mean? Because I actually do care what people think, and the thing is, like, I care what you think. That don't necessarily mean what you think kind of molds how I feel about myself or anything. But if my intention is not what you're perceiving, then maybe I need to be a little bit more intentional.
Clear. Yeah,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And what did you say? Perspective, perception. Is that what you were saying? So this is the only thing that I would say to the point. This is what I attempt to do, especially inside like conversations and debates. And like, to me, I honestly think that, like, if I was debating me, I would be like such an easy target, only because of typically what I try and remove first is like perception inside the argument, because of, like, I think that ends up being like the fodder of the conversation.
It's not based in facts.
Right. So like, usually if you ever hear me argue, I'm gonna ask about, like, do you like what evidence, give examples, and like it's statistics and things like that. So like, before I give an opinion, if first I have to inform myself, and then like see what the data says, and then from there, like, I'll try and give like an informed decision about anything. Easiest way to be like if you're trying to get me to change my mind or anything like that would be if you present evidence or facts that are of the contrary or disprove a fact that I have to resort back to like changing my opinion, only because that's what I try. And of course, nobody's perfect. But that's what I attempt to build most arguments off of, if that makes sense. Just because I think that, oh, my bad. And then I also try and speak inside majority minority to remove anecdotes, I guess. So like I'll always act stats and then majority minority, because of, depending on like we all can point out like I think you use the word onesie too, to where it can go to a point but not speak for the masses. And yeah, like I said, like if you want a cheat code to telling me change my mind or telling me to shut the fuck up, just disprove what I'm saying through like a version of which I believe, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that takes the fun out of it. Like, I read it's not so much like care about proving you wrong as it is the conversation. Like, I don't really care to go like honestly, I like to give my opinion before I know what the statistics say, because I don't mind walking back and saying that I was wrong. Like, that doesn't fucking matter to me. Like, the conversation is more important than me being right. Like, I don't really care if like, oh, I was wrong. Good job. I was wrong. You put me in the box.
Yeah,
let's have fun in the motherfucker. Okay.
But that's that's a value of like perception perspective, where so in that it seems like you enjoy having like a perception first and then getting perception. Perspective, I guess.
It's crazy because I think this was about something like, I think this was about something else here, like as far as what he was saying. I think he was saying like
I moved it a little bit.
Like as far as like perception or whatever, like the best way you can understand people, like most people live from their own perception, and so they're trying to understand people from how they perceive things. Like when you shift to perspective, then you're able to take yourself out of it, and you're able to break down the perception. Like what's the perception of this person? Like why do they believe the thing they say? That's kind of how my brain operates. That's why I was wondering about this.
That's the Johnny Cameron angle. That's why I knew he was going.
And here's another one too that builds on it. That like the next level. Like once you like that 2% or whatever the number we go
Jumbotron.
Nah, but like perspective. Once you like once you get good at perspective. Hey man, leave me alone, bro. Leave me alone. But it becomes empathy, because once I can like see your point of view, and then I make that a practice of trying to like
Johnny get it,
put myself put myself in other people's shoes. Then now I can like start to feel like, if I can understand why you would get there, then now I can feel that emotion.
But let me ask you this also.
So that's
do you think that also leads to like accountability as well?
It has to. Like, but I think like when it comes to other people, the perspective is like the basis of the empathy. Because like if I can't understand you or understand what you're going through, how can I like empathize with you? And
if I go to that, and maybe this is probably like the perfect branch to like the one of the conversations that we've had. Like I agree with what you're saying, that it can lead to a difference in perspective. But I also would say that I think that it can lend to like either empathy or accountability as well. And I use this as like an example that I just gave for Unpacked recently, where like because of like I have a different perspective of
experience in it,
then I have like a different level of accountability that I give in comparison to somebody that might have like a different perspective on it, in which like it elicits empathy because like you understand like a certain a certain understanding, maybe, that I'm trying to find out like the best way to frame it.
I see where you're going. Yeah.
But it can flip itself on the head depending on like what you're talking about. And I agree
where the perspective is coming from.
Yeah,
and where you're standing. I definitely could see, it can lead to accountability, and that's the best kind of accountability, because it's like the tough love. Like I'm like you say, I'm telling you to get your shit together, not because I'm trying to talk down on you, but it's because I really fuck with you. And I empathize for you, and I understand where you're coming from.
I grew up with you,
and this is
I know your mama.
This is the next step. You gotta have that accountability too. So that perspective, I'm taking one more step, leads to empathy and accountability, being able to master perspective.
And I guess like that does blend. Johnny, you don't mind if I just don't into that? Okay.
Yep.
Because our question is gonna probably blend in.
Yeah.
Nah, that's a good role.
And so I think that we were recently just having like a suburban versus hood conversation / like the values in which we not entertain but glorify within Black culture. Also, like we kind of blended it all. We had like the Stefan and Urkel whole example. Carlton, yeah. And I guess like we can start off by staying where we're at and speaking about like the divide. It seems like I know everybody kind of on the panel. Rail, do you believe like that there is like somewhat of like a divide, some different versions of like classism within Black people, XYZ?
For sure.
Okay, so we don't necessarily have to dive into that as much as speaking about it inside like our own personal perspectives. Has it evolved? Has it changed? Was there a time that you might have looked at whether it was people that had more than you, people that had less than you, a different way? Toss it in the air.
I would say I definitely did. Man, it's crazy how stuff has kind of shifted for me in recent years, because it's like I was spending a lot of time like trying to, and it was something I didn't necessarily realize I was doing, but it was like I was trying to equate my life to a lot of other people. Like, and it was like I was trying to make my characteristics fit. And like, why is my life not like this? And why don't I have this? And why, like, I need to achieve this and I need to get this. And it's like, as soon as I shifted my perspective, things actually started going better for me. But like the perspective I'm coming from now, like there are some people who, how can I explain it? Like they can go beyond like this world necessarily, beyond the way the world operates, and it's necessary that they function in that way because it helps other people. Like it's like they don't necessarily reap the same rewards, and I've realized that's kind of me. I'm not necessarily going to have the things line up for me in the same way it lines up for other people. Like I've realized that, like just because of how I think, it's not a like I literally would have to shift my whole way of thinking and my whole being in order to even do that. And I can't change who I am. Like it just is. Like as soon as I accepted that, stuff actually started. It was like the thing that I was trying to achieve actually started happening in the first place. But it's like, it's not just up to me to try to control it so much. Like it's more so like, if like I'm a believer, y'all know how I am about my beliefs. It's like if I believe, I have to operate in that perspective. Like that's what I've been taught, or what it's came down to for me. Like I was trying to still operate in the same way as the world, and it's like, nah, if you believe, then you're gonna operate as a believer, and I need you to operate like that. That's, I have conversations with the Most High. That's how I see it. So, I'm just explaining it how to y'all the best way I can explain it. But that's what I get. Like he's telling me, like if you're gonna move as a believer, and I want you to move as a believer because you're gonna bring some other people to me.
Yeah, it sounds like you're saying that at one point in time you did look at people. I don't know whether it's like higher or lower, as like even I don't know if it'll be judgment, but it'll be like like you looked at them as like in an elevated space, and
like you got more respect for people.
Yeah, once you kind of like change your belief system, you let go of those shadows.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to. It's like I don't have this thing of like the janitor deserves just as much love as the doctor in the hospital. If you was looking at that, like the janitor still deserves just as much love and respect.
Yeah.
The police officer, the security who working at the gate, they deserve respect. They deserve love. Like they're worthy of it. So I just done got to that perspective now where it's like, man, I just see people as human now. Like real, like, and I kind of always have been like that, but it's just gotten a lot more deeper in recent years. Like where I had to remove myself from trying to seek these things and go in this direction because I feel like, hey, I need to be doing this and I need to be doing that. It doesn't need to be my focus though. Like, and that's what I had to get to.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll say this kind of similar to Tone. Like,
what makes
I'm about to bring it back kind of similar to like with like growing up. Like I grew up in an all black neighborhood. Like I wasn't necessarily like in the hood, but like it was a middle class black neighborhood. There were pools and we had like it wasn't the rich neighborhood. It wasn't Ballantyne or anything, but it wasn't Greer Heights and any neighborhood that y'all talk about. It's somewhere kind of in the middle. Went to a black church.
Like middle class.
Black middle class, yeah. Went to a black church. So like a lot of my life before I even went to school, I'm always surrounded by black people. And so I never felt that I didn't fit in until I started going to like, we really started about middle 6th, 7th grade. And then I started like, kind of feeling my own perception of the world. And I'm trying to understand like, damn, I'm not like these people. And they're letting me know that I'm not like them. And I'm like, damn.
What would you say like the feeling was? Was it like envious? Was it entitled? What would you say that?
No, I felt looked down on. I felt, but from like white people.
So you felt more ashamed.
I wouldn't say shame, but it was like the less than or like
disregarded.
I just felt like I didn't fit. And it's like, damn,
ostracized.
Ostracized is probably a good word. So like I felt like I was there, but until I started doing the practice of like trying to understand, hanging out with my hood, having white friends, and because it wasn't just black people, it came from the white kids too. You hang out with the white kids.
The whites was it
all white? I ain't say just.
Okay.
But like you would get let know that you're not. And a lot of times,
it would have been wild if the poor whites were saying that you wasn't really white, me really black. But I get what you're saying.
But like, and they wouldn't even necessarily say it. You just feel it. You go over there and you go hang out with your white friends. It's just different.
My bad. Okay, go ahead.
And you would just feel, not necessarily like they're like, oh, you're different. You're not like us. But you just go and it's like, damn, this ain't. It's just a different way of life. A lot of we have, and you just see a different perspective on things. And so I felt like me changing my perspective and being a little more understanding of people helped me get a better confidence of myself. And like, oh damn, I'm not the only one that feels like this. It's a lot of people. A lot of people are just being mean to me because they feel the same way inside too. And once I started learning, I had an understanding of it, and it led me to empathy. I'm like, man, I kind of just like me. Everybody's going through something, and I need to stop taking stuff personal because these people are probably going through stuff. These people are going through stuff, and it's just I'm just in my head. And that perspective opened up. It allowed me to look at it different and feel a little better about myself. And so, yeah, the hood stuff, I ain't never, I got cousins and friends that, grow up quote unquote in the hood, and I go hang out with them. Never, knew any difference. But then you get to school and they be like, oh, well, you're not like us. You're not hood. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm just hanging out with my cousins last weekend and none of that was the same. But now I get here and because of what neighborhood I'm from, I'm not the same.
Where you from?
Rock Hill, South Carolina, 803 boy, baby.
Okay.
But so yeah, the perspective.
On that long road.
Yeah. I'm on the bad.
Don't tell them, my boy.
Hey, Beatty's for the long road too. What part y'all from?
Yeah, you can go both. You can go.
Where's Batesville?
What part y'all
from?
from?
Was that? No, that's Oakland.
Oakland,
yeah.
But no, that perspective really kind of helped me like bridge the gap, like as you were saying, between like the suburban and the hood. Because I feel like I can understand people pretty well. I do feel like I got a good gift of, looking and understanding people, at first I didn't know how to use it. And then as you get older, it helps. You know, you look at people and be like, damn, I might not be like you, but I probably can understand and fuck with you if you give me a chance. And I've gotten that.
Gotcha. Real, that was 3 minutes.
Probably was.
That was a good little 3 minutes.
Yeah. Let me see. I think it was my thing. Mine was kind of a little bit. I feel like it was like kind of just straightforward. It was when we were younger. I was always around people that were doing the same as it like when the you know what I mean. It was. I was around the people that were doing the same thing that we were doing. Single mothers, you know what I mean. And you would see like in those neighborhoods where generally the single mother neighborhood, it was gonna be a lot of them. You know what I mean? It was gonna be a lot of single mothers in the neighborhood, and that pretty much everybody was a fucking either a child or a mom, but the damn janitor. You know what I mean? You would pretty much see that most often, and then there was some immigrant Africans that moved into the neighborhood. Matter of fact, it was just the black people because you would see some male and female households from the immigrants. They would have that, but for the most part, everybody was fucked up. Even though, like, you know what I mean. I couldn't get some. There was some niggas in the hood still getting Jordans and stuff. We wasn't ones getting it, but there was some. You would see that. But I was really
What
most
their
of my.
parents used to do.
Say it again.
So what their parents used to do.
I don't know.
Did y'all take them?
No.
No, they ain't take them.
No.
You wasn't gonna take them Jordans from that kid.
Yeah. Because he still is. You know what I mean? He still with Bucks. Goddamn it. Just because he got Jordans on. This nigga still grew up around these motherfuckers just like you did. You know what I mean?
These parents got money in the hood. It's for a reason.
Oh yeah. You ain't taking that kids.
Yeah.
They probably be serving the hood too. You know what I'm saying? So
And then you know what the dope thing was is like going to the military, right? You and everybody on the same rank as you make the same money, so they ain't really nothing to fucking. You know what I mean? Even people, you can look at this person doing less work than you're doing, or you higher on the PT score, low on the PT score. It don't really matter if you got that rank on. You make the same exact money.
So I guess just a quick interjection in that, just to kind of push you to continue to elaborate. So right now you're speaking about like the people inside your immediate circle, the people that you're around. And I think that all of what you're saying, like I would agree with me and Johnny, like with whatever his lived experience with the black people inside, like his middle class, I believe that's kind of what you was trying to say, neighborhood. Like that's like the people that you're already around.
Mm-hmm.
What we're talking about, like being around that specific group of people, when coming in, like in bumping shoulders or having conversations or going to school with, let's say now the entitled blacks, the black snobs, if we take it to POV, like the people that are inside a different space and exude that. Like what was the feeling to those people, the middle class, the rich blacks?
Damn, bro, you know, if I'm being completely honest, I never really like been close enough to like give a fuck. Like I don't really know. I would assume if you did treat me away, then it would. But I never really thought about it.
So you've never had like a perspective of the middle class. Like you throw the shots at Johnny.
I remember
not we all do. So this isn't saying specifically you, but like it's an innate piece of like I think XYZ because of your experience. X meaning ABC.
Oh yeah, no, I could just.
And
I think that you didn't.
What we're talking about.
Yeah. All the things like I think that you grew up in a different way than I did. But I would say that if I could have had the opportunity to actually grow up the way you did, if I could make the choice, I would probably choose that. Like, and so like I never really. To me, when I hear Johnny say certain stuff, it's just because you can tell there's a difference, and it's easy kind of to point out the difference. And like, it's just like, check, you don't know nothing about that. You don't know that. You know what I mean? That's just something that's just funny. But like at the end of the day, when I was talking to Johnny too, I'm like, bro, I would be proud to say that I stayed in the house. My mom and dad were doing well, and because they were doing well, this was my lifestyle. And hey, y'all had to deal with that. Y'all cool, but like I ain't had to deal with that shit, and I'm proud as fuck to say that. And I don't sounds like you would look down on niggas. So you would look down. No. What it is that if you don't allow me, if I don't fit in because you believe that I'm somewhere else and can't feel the same. If I don't fit in because of that, then I don't fucking fit in. I'm not gonna try to force myself to fit in with you. I can find some people that's right here where I am. If y'all make me feel the way,
you get the black snobs though.
But I mean, I understand that, but I wouldn't have been. It don't make you be a snob. I just like I didn't have like I never really cared so much, like so much to where like even then the best thing when I came home was like none of the niggas that I actually care about where you do how you're doing socioeconomically. None of y'all niggas care about that.
So I guess maybe that's like the better place to frame it at to kind of like get to it. There was a space where at a point in time you felt that the homies, like different guys, would feel away because of you had like been. Let me see what's the best way to frame it. Like you had an elevated space at that moment. When it comes down to like when you first came back to the military. Like I remember having like a very specific conversation with you.
Okay.
Where it's like, damn, you like, is it gonna make you feel away because of this? And then it's like it was. I'm trying to avoid going to like very specifics.
Damn, I want to hear the specifics like a motherfucker because I want to know exactly what you said.
But it was the idea that because I'm doing better than I was, or maybe like what the average person inside, like the group that we're in, are you going to look at me differently? That can only be baked in through the idea that at some point you had to have looked at people that were doing better and inside a different frame of reference.
Yeah, I think that like it's to me it's like kind of the same as like maybe I don't really know because I don't feel like I've known enough about well-to-do or middle-class black people to
but you've never had like a judgment to like if that
it was maybe just jokes, like you know what I mean. Y'all motherfuckers, you don't know nothing about the ramen noodles, eating the ramen noodles out of the pack. It's like joke shit. It's like you don't know nothing about, you don't know about the struggle. You know what I mean? Your lights ain't never been off, so you probably ain't the toughest motherfucker because you had no reason to be tough. Like that, just like more surface level, but like it was nothing to really. I just never really been around it to really like. Everybody around me was poor. Like my mom, all my family was poor. Like so, like right. Everybody was.
I guess like so.
I'll try and give me a little bit more of the conversation so I'll know exactly what you trying to get to.
Like, well, I'm not really specifically trying to get to anywhere. But like you know what I mean. All of us giving like a personal experiences per se. But like so, let me see. Like this is my framing that I'll kind of run with, where. Like, so for me, I've always kind of been an insider, outsider, inside like most groups that I'm in, where like I was like, John, maybe you put it perfectly. Like, I'm from the hood, but I'm not hood inside any POV, right? And so like growing up, there's a space where let me see how I can frame like what would it be the best way to kind of like have a starting point at this?
Probably a similar experience to me, like as far as like if you're in the hood and not the most hood guy, there's gonna be
but you can play basketball. Certain little things make it a lot easier.
Yeah, I was never ostracized. I was never ostracized inside any perspective.
But in the hood, if you go play basketball, you're still gonna be good.
That's why they fuck with me. That's why I ain't never had no issues.
But I guess like the point that I'm making in general. And damn, what's the like the hood, suburban, and values, and looking down and looking up. Like so, for me, I know that there was a space of jealousy for the people that had things that I would have loved at. Like there's certain like in 64 because of I wasn't able to get that. I had a envious not nature, but like an envious POV. Like that was a game that I'd hate on. We had like the Xbox at the house, but I was like, damn, it'd have been fire to get to like the N64.
Starfuck
and
64.
Like that was like that was like its own. Like I might be saying like different things.
You meant the game. Like, you probably talking about the GameCube. High school.
Okay. Go ahead.
But like because like that thing became like a value symbol for like privilege, if that makes sense. And it was like different things. Like I don't wear Jordans because of. Like that became something that I've seen a lot of people, especially when you get into like mixed income high schools. Like there's certain kids that could afford that and they had that and it just was a thing. Of course, we know like certain kids in the hood would have the Jordans and shit like that. But there was a different connotation that I seen with a lot of people that I was like, I'm good on that because of like that dog whistle something differently to me. And I know that was something that for me, it took like being like going to college, being around a bunch of different socioeconomic people, in which like even in college, like that's his own different thing, because you see the identity crisis of the suburban blacks and the regular blacks. Where the suburban blacks come to college and like they put on airs to almost play a hood chick and do like this is where they have their hood experience. I had a bunch of friends that you would think at first, especially like when they operate inside the school, when they're like the activities that they're engaging in, and then like the ones that's most likely to get in fights and all that shit. You go back and they got big ass houses.
Mm-hmm.
They got like decent, like they're good, and like you see that whole identity crisis, and then it starts like normal. Oh, these niggas is going through like a different version of the same thing that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, like, well, like this is own different like version of a story, but like an interesting space that I always tend to find myself in is that like most people, especially post graduation, like not associating me with rap and shit. They'd be like, "Oh, you went to an HBCU? Oh, you went to black schools? Oh, you went to XYZ?" Because of like I don't like performatively exemplify what they look at as like hood or anything like that. And like you see like its own judgment within that. So it's like so interesting because I then get a different piece of that puzzle, I guess, especially with Johnny speaks to. Yeah, like well, not everybody wear New Balances now. I don't even think that'd be a thing.
He tried you, bro.
He tried it.
Them shit's ugly.
The kids that Chambers in North Met got they doing New Balances and they.
I know it, bro. Those
basics. But let's take to the point really quickly because we get on the tangent. My main thing is that like I know that both of them exist because I've had the envious space, but then I've also had the judgment of people believing that I'm from a different space.
Mm-hmm.
So then I like to me it's hard to like pretend like neither one of them happens, and almost innately being inside one of the spaces, you either have like an entitlement or you look or like for Johnny, like you might have an entitlement or an envious like nature of like damn, like they might not accept me in the in group, or damn, I'm better than them at a point, and then it normalizes itself at a specific space.
Let me ask you guys this, because we was talking about like me look like the suburban versus the hood POV, and how like you were saying like I might, you know, if I didn't fit in, I would just be like fuck them, and it don't even matter to me. But like, what about like the opposite? Like, have we ever experienced, or like if any of us like seen like that black upper class growing up, and like an inside track and being because that I've seen.
Explain it a little bit better.
Well, I got like some cousins, like my brother-in-law does pretty well. I got a couple of uncles that do very, very well. One of my uncles big.
So all your cousins wasn't in it.
Some of them were, some of them weren't.
Okay.
Like yeah, it's a big family.
Big family.
But like I see my like my uncle Stan, he's like one of the top lawyers in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see like what that looked like. 2 kids.
Are you saying like did kid like being from like a lower socioeconomic status, did you have envy for the upper class?
Well, no, I'm saying was there anybody that like you guys looked up to, or like where was the space where like you said you looked up and saw people that, and it was an envious space? Was there ever a space where you saw somebody from an upper class where you didn't envy them, but you was like, oh, I can be that, like see representation in the upper class? There wasn't no form of that for anybody.
Well, and I guess we can toss this around the horn. I would say that most of the people in the neighborhoods in the areas, like I didn't really know of like a rich person. Like the most well-to-do would have been like my Aunt Connie and them, in which I mean like they're kind of like suburbanish middle-class blacks, but that's like the one outlier inside our family. Everybody else is kind of inside the same space. But then I went to all black schools, all black neighborhood. Most people were within a very similar socioeconomic range. And like, I don't know of like, I didn't know a councilman. I didn't know like this, like real estate mogul. I had nobody to point to. And that's why like, to me, my blessing is that I was in the band. And because of the band prior to senior year, I had never seen nobody go to college. So college wasn't even something I had thought about.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's the same thing
so like for me, the next step for band was going to college. So then I was like, oh shit, what drum line I'm gonna play with? Let me look at this one. Let me look at this one. Like, I didn't even apply to PWIs because I like that shit wasn't on the radar of something that I've seen anybody do or think about or do anything like that. So like once I went to college, my POV opened up and it was like a lot more that I oh shit, it's a brand new world here. There's people from there's things to look at. There's like you know what I mean?
Right.
But prior to that, there was no like beacon of like this
like hope.
Like your teachers ain't got money. That might have been like the nigga with the most money inside the area that I thought about. I remember when it was a teacher that worked at Berry. Her people was Jeremy from up the street. And niggas was oh shit, Mrs. She worked at Berry. I can't remember her name right now. She in the hood. That's her people. But we looked at her almost as like middle class-ish. When you know now, it's not even like the reality.
Yeah, that's crazy to teach you something. Yeah, bro. You know the funniest thing to answer your question directly, I'd say no. So, but there were some, and the people that I did see, like there were some white. Like I knew my through my mom, we were a single parent household, but there were some white people that helped us along the way. You know what I mean? There was definitely some good white people. Like there was a millionaire that I knew, and I used to go and play with her grandson, and but they lived in trailers. She owned a piece of land and she had 2 trailers, one where her mom stayed in, and we would run.
What made them millionaires? Well, I mean,
they were in the mental health field, so they were actually doing like in-house, like having it was pretty much fuck.
No, I understand. I was wondering if it was like off property value in.
Oh no, it was actually off of the business. It was the organization that she opened up. I think it was called Eminem of the Carolinas, and they were cool. But like that was like I would see that. Then my brother one time he had a big brother from the Big Brother program back in the day, Reggie, and I remember him. And he had a big ass house. No, he's a black guy. Oh, he was mixed or something like that. I think he was mixed or he was black. But it was nothing that I got to really see. I didn't get to go in. Do you know what I mean? I think I rode past. I seen their house one time before, huh?
I mean, half FBA, half it.
Probably half FBA. I seen them one time, and but it wasn't inspiring to me. It just looked so out of reach. But I have some great aunts. You know what I mean? That are doing really well. Like one of my aunts is superintendent of schools in St. Louis, I believe, right now. And like some principals and like that whole thing, like they're very, very smart, and education is like their, you know what I mean, wheelhouse and all that. But like as far as the people that I could reach out and touch on a regular basis, we were definitely in similar positions. Some a little bit higher than others. Maybe got a mother and father in this household as they were growing up, and we didn't, so they had more than we did. Trampoline and you know what I mean, those kind of things. But it wasn't like an envy thing for me. It was like I don't know. Honestly, I didn't never really look at it like that because I still always fed in. Like it wasn't only time I didn't feel like I fit in was when I came home from the military and that whole music scene, the underground music scene. I didn't really feel like I fit in there. And maybe that was where the conversation you were talking about that we had? Was that where you were going?
Well, it was during that time, but it was based around the fact that like you had came up and you didn't want niggas to look at you differently because of that. So like you were trying to like downplay like some benefits that you had gotten to, and like because of you didn't want people to look at you differently.
Yeah, and see, and
like
another thing.
Kind of like
and see, it was a lot of things I was going through during that time period when I first came home because it was a complete culture shock coming home and like how everything was. And then I was in it was a lot of things.
But this was like outside of the culture shock part. It was like just like right now with like the situation that I had, it's put me inside like a better foundational space when it comes down to like money.
I'm surprised we ain't figured out what he's talking about yet. I don't even know what he's talking about at this point.
Why don't you just fucking tell me?
Because he's not trying to say. I know why he's not trying to say it exactly. Like, like it's more so around the time. Like you talked about it multiple times as far as like, okay, put it like this: people can act a certain way when you have certain things that they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get that?
Yeah, I get that.
So it was like think about.
You're trying to make sure that we didn't view you as that. And but that also would mean that like at some point you felt like people that had certain things had to have acted that way. That'd be the only way that you would get that assumption. in my opinion.
Well, I mean, no. So like you would automatically assume that a person that is in a different situation than you are in, I would assume that people are easily looked at differently.
Okay.
Like because if you know like, oh, this person has a lot more money, or this person's doing, oh, you know what I mean? Oh, you go to this person's house and the house looks like this, or their car looks like this. You just kind of, it's easy to start like trying to figure, oh, he think he better than, and that's easy to come up with your own reasoning to, you know what I mean? Oh, he probably he act like that because he got this, or you know what I mean? I don't know exactly. I wish I could remember the exact conversation.
Like the entitlement on people that have more, and that they look down on people that have less.
Right, you could possibly, you could put that on them, and not necessarily saying that they are. Like, I never knew Johnny came from a middle class family. I never gave a fuck. Like with Johnny, like I never knew that. You know what I mean? Until we started potting, we never had no conversation about well-to-do or like what you did, 2-parent household, none of that stuff. You was cool the whole time. I was, you know what I mean?
I will say that's probably a reason why even we get along. Like, because
like we all,
none of us is like that. Like, none of us cared about where each other lived. Like, we just went over each other's houses and stuff.
Right.
We knew each other's mamas. We was just we was interested in what we did. Like,
oh shit.
Right, but let me see if I can. Let me see how.
I still get what you're saying as far as
keep the same frame of reference, but I think we all three of us had very like, you know what was fire in the come up is when that summer where I could catch the bus over to your house and we all and my feet hated it afterward, but like we over because I couldn't swim, so I'm walking on the bike. but like the pool and then the little weights inside the little thing that was so fire to me.
Oh yeah,
that was like, oh.
And the crazy part about you want to know the crazy part about that story though, because y'all probably thought I was in a well-to-do situation then. But the only reason, I don't even know what y'all would have thought, but the only reason we was living there,
it was a different amenity.
The only reason we was living in that place was because we wouldn't have had access to it. The only reason we was living in that place at the time was because my mom's boss at the time, my mom always got along with like rich white people and stuff like that. Like she always, like she just got that personality. She be making them laugh. So it was like when he got ready to move, he was like, well, why don't you just take over my apartment? Like, and so that was his whole thing. So like they did this whole thing where they pretended like they was together and went to the leasing office and she had like the girlfriend or whatever. So he put her on the lease and then he moved and then we had the apartment.
Yeah.
So it was like,
but to me, like, I guess to what I'm saying is that like I think we had like a shared similar experience. I'll say like if we talk about that same drum line, there was another snare player that I didn't really identify.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean though. Yeah,
and like it was a little bit like, for less of better words, like a snobbish thing with them that was quickly identified that they can't. I'm not like this.
Go ahead.
I'm not using that as like saying you, Johnny, but there was a snobbish like well-to-do part about him that I never connected with.
And even the other people that hung, like the other black snobs, like he fit in with that group.
Yeah,
but even with them, he was like one of the things I did.
It was one of the like
I didn't never care about none of that shit. I never even like thought like that's the crazy
I paid
thing, bro.
attention to it.
I could see a nigga wearing the Jordans or like somebody like dressing like the way that I wished I could afford to dress.
No, but it's the way they talk to you, the way they talk down to you.
It used to be funny to me because
it was there.
Bro,
I know
there was one particular guy. There was one particular one of them black snobs that ended up talking to my sister. But the funny part was he acted a certain type of way towards me. But then you didn't know that you end up dating my sister, who's from the same class as I am. Like, but you sitting there kissing her tail. Yeah. Like he was kissing her tail, bro. It was pretty bad. Like,
yeah, no, like
them hood girls used to take them suburban boys through it back in the day, though.
I can imagine. But
did you ever get? Did you get you together?
I had a couple hood girls. Yeah,
yeah. And my experience with early on blacks that had more was the fact that they pushed the air of entitlement to where we just never ever clicked. I just never really clicked with well-to-do blacks. It's just never been a point that was something that I ever clicked with.
And when you say well-to-do, is that like middle class or upper middle class? Or?
Like however they presented themselves. Like
Yeah.
they always
'Cause we were-
like Tone was there, so like he understands what I'm saying.
It's probably not a money thing. It's just a per. Like,
no, it partially was a money thing. They made sure that you knew they had everything. Like, look at my shoe. They got all the fresh clothes. They eating pizza and fries every day. Like these.
That was crazy because that in itself was a money.
Was a thing. Yeah, that was a money thing.
But hold on.
Pizza and fries every day.
I will tell you this though. I will tell you this.
Tell
There's some of those like middle class families that like they push that on their kids to make it be coming from the parents.
I'm not
the parents. So like it may not be that they're even like super well to do versus they just spending money to for the perception.
And to me, like
that's what
I
I
learned that at like going to college was like they have their own identity crisis that they're still living through. But as a high school student that's kind of like aware of what's happening and the dynamic,
they was assholes.
Like oh, you're looking down on me. Like that's what you're doing right now. And it's a bunch of y'all that have like a very similar like area background that y'all have an air of looking down on black people, like us regular black people. And like you make sure it's known and understood.
Well, and then eventually I did find out it wasn't just looking down on them. They wasn't necessarily like eventually I did like because even like the snare player you talking about, like I hung out with him outside of school and stuff like that. Like eventually I hung out with some of those black snobs, like or so-called black, like I was cool with some of them. Like the one-on-one be totally different than how they act with the group.
Yeah, I can
like
imagine that too.
So it'd be like stuff be
before
deeper
they
than
actually like know you, and that's where like when you humanize anybody. Like,
and this is where that perception thing come back in. This is where that perception thing come back in though, because once you shift your perspective and you're not even think like you can understand where they get their perception from, and you shift your perspective, you understand where they get their perspective, their perception from, and why they operate the way they do. You start to see it's not so much that they're hating; it's just that's the mentality, that's the programming that they've had. They don't even know that they're doing it. Like, or that you're identifying as that because they're not necessarily hating on you. Like, it's just a programming.
I got one too, because the way y'all said that, I think that's specifically like a all black school thing. Because, like, from my perspective on it, like,
because that's where you will see more classism with black.
Yeah, you're right. But it's in my perspective, it was like the exact opposite, where the hood blacks look down. On
that's the upward bound thing.
That's what Trey. But like, I can understand that. But no, I never felt like I said, I told you I felt like I didn't fit in. But like, I also,
I don't want to derail you from the example that you.
But like, but I think growing up in more of a suburban area where there's like my school was about almost 50-50. It was probably like 45, like 10% Hispanic, whatever. I mean, it was very like white and black. I mean, and so a lot of those people, I felt like if you were living that like middle class, I was in advanced classes, so I was a little nerdy. I felt like I got more. I didn't feel like I was entitled. I didn't feel like I was looking down on nobody. I didn't have any kind of an air about, oh, I'm better than people. But I did feel looked down on, and it did come from the quote unquote people that would be in the hood. Now
I can see that too.
And so like, but it didn't make me. I didn't have no like, oh my god, it's just it is what it was. I had hood friends, and I try to go to parties, and I still try to do your thing. But I definitely felt like what you were saying, like that black snobbish shit. But I felt like the black.
Well, you felt like they thought that of you until they humanized you. Is that what you're saying?
I don't even think they thought I was a snob. I just felt like just because like I didn't wear like dress a certain way, or I didn't look a certain way, they just felt like I just didn't belong. And I think it was just more about looking at but like once you get to know me, I was pretty like I ain't had no issues nowhere. I could go anywhere I wanted. But initially, I definitely felt people
like
looking
being
down
a part
on
of the
me.
house.
Oh yeah, nah, black snobs, they actually called themselves that at our school, bro. This wasn't even like we making up this name.
But he announced it.
Yeah, they named themselves this.
That's crazy.
But the crazy part is I went to camp with one of them. I knew him before we went to school. Like it was crazy how that works. But yeah, they ain't really no different. That's what I end up learning. Be like,
it seemed like you had a couple epiphanies or like thought bubbles that popped up.
No, I'm honestly like literally trying to figure out exactly a time where like I would have felt like maybe like like looked down upon based on like that. I do remember like damn bro, I really can't think of a specific time period where I was like looking up to somebody because of the money, or felt like I was.
Well, I think that's a different framing of it.
Yeah,
like looking
we
up
wouldn't looking up to.
I wouldn't. Have,
well, I mean, or like the fact that. See, I wouldn't attribute naturally. I wouldn't attribute it to the fact that you got money. I would attribute it to like you just a shitty person. I wouldn't fuck with you off the strength of that part. It wouldn't be like because I was looking at your, you know what I mean? Especially, but I could see the fact that, and I think there's probably more of that than it is because of the money. It's probably like, nigga, you just don't wear the shit that we wear. Like you look more closer to the white folk than you look to what we doing. And like, yeah, you just, you know what I mean? You just not.
But what we're talking about, like having the experience of somebody feeling like they're better than you because they're from a different, like financial space. That's what I'm talking about. It seemed like that's what Tone was talking about. Not even like explicitly the fact of like joking on what you're wearing, because everybody does that. That's like general black culture. But more so like having certain people that eventually, like you identify that you don't gravitate towards each other. There's a certain air about them. And again, like Johnny's speaking to it as well, where like there's a certain air about like the
if you think about the snare player he was talking about earlier, you know exactly what we mean.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure which one. I thought it was one, and then it's
There's only one snare player with that letter.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's the
yeah.
Okay, I know, and that's it. It was between him and one other one. Okay, I know who you're talking about, and I did kind of like, I could kind of see what y'all was talking about, but I didn't. You know what I mean? He wasn't somebody that I would have really been around anyway. Because he graduated like 2 years before me, there would have been no reason for us to.
Nah, he was.
But you had.
I would date it if I said that, but it wasn't 2 years before you, bro.
Yeah, y'all just a year apart. Like I was older than him, and he was
okay. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. But yeah, it was really nothing that we had.
Nigga, like niggas like Tyrone was trying to fight the nigga over the shit like like he was the like outlier of the group in general, and he always had issues because of the thing. That was like the entire whole thing about it. Yeah. He was the one person that didn't fit in because of a very specific reason.
And I get what you're saying. The craziest thing is I never connected it to the fact that his family was doing well.
Oh no, he made sure that was a thing. Yeah, it was
literally that. I never really put that together. Like I never really put that together. That's the funny thing. Like I never put it together.
That's your perception.
Yeah, I didn't never really like that. That thing never really. Yeah, it just never really was that big a deal. Like
the crazy part is even with him, he was different than like that other group. Like there was a difference between them. Like he didn't fit in with them all the way either. Like
I could imagine. But yeah, nonetheless, I think that what we wanted down to like the last.
We got 4 minutes.
4 minutes or so.
4 minutes.
If y'all want to call in, we got about 4 to 5 minutes left on the clock. If not, Johnny, I think that what you want to tell us why the streets is a myth, or why you believe in condoning snitching. I don't know which one it is.
Well, no, actually, I think we touched on my topic within this conversation, but like I was just speaking about like that classism. And how like
what up, fat boy?
The what they push as far as like the culture and what they think is not, it doesn't represent, it doesn't represent. Like we even see with these discussions, we're talking about black classes. Mm-hmm. We're talking about black middle class or black elite. And like you can't have black elite and have like the streets going on and gangster shit being like our culture. And I think, we're moving into the space where that shit ain't going. I mean, we haven't conversation about about like feeling looked down on, and like I think we're moving on, and that's really where my question was coming from, about like just that hood culture representing all the black people. I think we're finally moving away from quote unquote streets representing all black people.
But I don't really agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
You think it still represents all black people?
No. I think it's.
I was just gonna say, I think that it's the way that. For some reason, well, I think that it's probably because our story has always been the struggle. Like we like to tie ourselves to it. So the perception, like if you look at it, niggas want to make Charlotte hooder than we. Like for me, I don't want to act like Charlotte is the most hood. It's like a hood competition between states and shit. Like who's got the most hood?
Nigga, I'm from Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean,
when you go to college, you get like Charlotte he had a whole little sign.
I was surprised. I was like I was like, okay, well, I'm with it. Like all the Charlotte students was just like, we gonna let them think what they think about it.
Yeah,
I'm not. I don't. You know what I mean? That's not something that I care. Like oh, even when I was in the military, it's some even like the drill sergeant, y'all soft. This is soft now. Back when I was niggas want to just fucking struggle Olympics. Like we just kind of have that as the thing. Like I don't think.
But you don't think we're getting away from? You think I can understand maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Think about how popular it is right now. Like the kids in middle class neighborhoods still want to be the hood guys.
Yeah, I think that it's still hyper glorified inside our media, and whether it's propaganda or not, it is
effective as
like
hell.
What people associate with Black in Black culture. We have not stripped that stereotype yet. I don't think it's an actual real representation. No,
sure, no.
But I think that
stereotypes still exist. I mean,
I think that.
What about amongst Black people?
Of the out group.
What about Black people? Do you think we have that perception?
We joke on you all the time about you being a part of the out group.
But like y'all aren't a part of the in group when it comes to the streets, though. Like y'all aren't street guys,
right? But there's a space where it's
I'm
like,
not a street guy, but I get treated like a street guy.
Right. It's the idea of like, and this is what we was talking about inside the episode. There is a space where we innately, unintentionally, and unconsciously associate the Black experience with struggle and poverty. It just is, and you're not really Black if you didn't have some of those things. And this is also why, like, to points that you make, you be like, well, I did grow up on this street. Well, my cousins, I usually was around them, and also like it's still an appeal to the idea that like real Black is struggle and poverty.
Hey, but hold on, but I mean, that's not my perception on it. Like, because I led.
No, but you make sure that you
definitely try to.
Wait, hold on, time out. I only started talking like that once y'all started saying the thing. I never led with that about my Black experience. True. That only came up once the suburban and the finger. That's when it could come up, but I've never led with that about my Black experience.
But to justify your Black experience, you brought that up
because I have to. If y'all gonna
but this all still goes to the same thing. It's not saying that one is right. We're almost saying that it's wrong, but we are still saying that unconsciously what we associate with the Black experience is struggle and poverty. Even though I think we should move away from that. I don't think that to have an opinion or to like perspective on Black culture, you have to have been in poverty or have struggled. Do I think that it's valuable if you're talking about changing these spaces and having better perspective to actually have conversations with people that have? Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think that is innately the only and should be looked at as the Black experience. But to pretend like that's not what we first push as what is associated closest to the Black experience will be like talking out of the side. Yeah, disingenuous.
And so like look at T.I. son. Look at it's all of these rappers' kids
want
to be their dad. But my thing is, bro, you didn't grow up like this though. But you want to be this so bad
because that's what they like. I can't blame a rapper's son for trying to emulate their dad.
Football player. It's a football player.
Michael Irvin.
Yeah, so like
that's a better example. That's a better example.
This is something that we
suburban kids that act like they gangster hood. Like, bro, I ain't even going to shit on I'm gonna shit on them for a little bit. Like I done seen the suburban Blacks throw like gangster parties with like that's like blood based and brag based and shit
crazy.
like that.
Oh yeah,
like that shit corny.
I know who you're talking about.
I've seen that.
I don't know, but that's crazy.
Like
who he talking about?
Yeah, like there's a space where how about this? We done put trap on every fucking thing. You got trap soul, you got trap Pilates, you got trap yoga, you got trap painting, you got that shit is based off the trap idea karaoke. Of like when they say trap, that just means Black. Yeah. That's really what we talking about.
Ratchet.
Yeah, even if we go to another country, like people talk about this all the time, how they go to other countries and people think they're a rapper or something, or they looking at them to do certain stereotypical things to, like you do this, let me see the hood person, like they doing all that in other countries.
And again, like we're not saying that this is like an accurate or what it really is, but what people naturally associate, and we are all here to break the stereotype. this podcast is kind of based off of trying to break the stereotype.
Facts.
But I ain't gonna act like it don't exist. You was about to read Down B. Shout out Down B. Down B be in the chat.
Oh, he said, but our culture mainly stems from the people that were struggling. They're the main force behind our culture.
Yeah.
The first breakdancers created those dance moves because they couldn't afford tap shoes. They wanted to dance in the theater but couldn't afford it.
And I don't disagree with that. And I think that I attempted to kind of walk through and ask that question and like unpack where is it because why do we associate struggle and poverty to the Black experience? It's partially because it is innate to the Black experience.
Mm-hmm.
Where you talk about it's coming from slavery, then after Reconstruction, them shitting on that, then putting us into Jim Crow, them redlining us, then the crack era, and making sure that there's been intentional, systematic oppression of Black people to where previous to like the past, like maybe like 15, 20 years, there's been like a justful association with a certain level of oppression and foot on neck that does directly come with the Black experience in America.
Yeah, it's like the what are most of us going? What is the general population?
Yeah.
You're an exception, so you aren't going through the you know what I mean, the Black experience because you're an exception to what is the vast majority of our story.
Yeah.
So it's just I feel like, bro, it's okay to accept the.
You gotta be careful with that exception to the Black experience. Though,
well, I guess this is where I would say I think that we're moving away from this as the Black experience, though. Like the average Black experience is starting not to exemplify that,
right?
And that's where I would love for the identifying marker not to stay at that. That'd be my only piece, but it's been there for a reason. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that, fellas. I guess the streets are not dead, according to the
Is
fellas.
that what you got from what we said?
Well, I think they're dying and we're moving away, but it still represents.
Nah, the street's dead, bro. Like,
like
that's not what he was saying.
But I do think we're trying to sort out.
Based on the way you was trying to ask a question, I understand why
Thank
you said
Rail.
what you said.
Thank you, Ray.
Yes.
I appreciate
I do think we still are trying to sort out like what's being just a general strong Black man, which takes a certain edge in the society that we live in versus somebody that really is criminal.
Yeah.
Because I get treated more like from people who are unfamiliar, I would get treated from the stereotype standpoint as the criminal side, when really it's more of, no, I'm just a Black man that's been growing up in America. So I know that I can't be docile in this situation. I may have to say something to you aggressive enough right now just because I'm in an environment where if I don't do it, you automatically are going to try to take advantage and think that I'm weak. So I don't have to yell at you or anything, but I may not be so concerned if I'm not smiling around you because you're a manager. This is professionalism. So I'm just only going to talk to you about what I need to with this job. You know what I mean? You may see me with a coworker that's on the same tier level that I'm at. Oh, what's up, man? You know, you may see me engage in a real conversation with him, but with you, it might not be like that. And that's just, that doesn't mean I'm a thug or a criminal. It just means that I already know the games that y'all can play. So I'm not getting personal or nothing, just professionalism. But, you know, they could look at it like, oh, does he not like me or something? But, you know, they, like you said, perception or perspective is like, what do you see happening in front of you or what are you stuck in that you just believe?
Yeah.
Through your own lens. Yep. Appreciate everybody tapping in with us. This has been a good one. Another productive conversation. Please tap in with us on all socials. I think Real got one. What's up?
No, I was actually looking at Mom's her comment right there. She said, "Happy anniversary, guys." That's something that we probably ain't even think nothing. Well, ain't nobody said nothing. We ain't think nothing about it. Is this our anniversary?
Nah, we just changed the new.
We started in like August. Our anniversary.
It was like September.
It was like September. Is the anniversary date.
I think we're just saying that we like in us restarting the season.
Okay, in the season, go to the new season. Okay, my bad. Go ahead, bro. My bad.
Oh yeah, but appreciate it, Miss Sharon.
Season 6.
Appreciate the love. Appreciate the love.
They tried to ban TikTok.
Big T saved it.
They ain't banned that new OnlyFans.
It got banned. It got banned for half a second, bro. That joke right there.
Tell them about it.
What is he selling on me?
Come on, we're doing good. Hey, hold on.
Gonna have to explain that shit one day.
We was doing good. Hey, but please tap in with us.
Explain Johnny Rail.
No, hey, look.
But I got a new OnlyFans myself. It's called Tone and Rail's mom. It's a good OnlyFans.
This is getting derailed at the end. We was doing good. Hey, y'all tap in with us at all socials.
What do you see on that?
Hey, I just be showing her love, bro. I love his mom, bro. I just be showing love, bro.
YouTube gonna pick us up.
All right,
y'all done. I'm your host, Johnny P.
Over here, real.
It's cute.
And we out.